Man accidentally obtains the world's only divine equipment, Odin's Eye. A god-level skill that can be unleashed with a flick of the wrist. Even able to forcibly copy others' abilities for their own use. It's an eye-counting structure that can be broken by a single glance. Even the top therapist honored as a saint. Zai Xian's angry expression immediately turned into helplessness. Xing Yuming was originally the agent for the hunters. He would assign missions to the hunters who had no guild. Zai Xuan was overjoyed when he received his call, thinking that after so many days, he would finally receive the tail payment. It was never expected that she would be sent to the Phoenix parents to be a disposable meat shield. I don't understand why I was assigned this garbage-kissing partner. Xing Yuming frankly admitted that this decision was made out of desperation. Recently, martial-type hunters, regardless of their level, have had difficulty receiving commissions. After all, this is the era of magic hunters. It is indeed as he said. Magic hunters can stand in the back and deal range damage. Even the top magic hunter, Reina, only had a rating of 92% back then. Zai Xuan's martial arts score is only 34%. Yet he resolutely chose to become a warrior. There is no special reason for this. Simply because at that time, people's evaluation of the magic department was extremely poor. Thinks the magic department is just a buff provider. But now the magic department has made a comeback and ushered in its peak. Zai Xian couldn't help but feel some regret. If only he had chosen the magic department. A hunter's growth stops at the age of 20, so it's too late to regret now. Once, the talent he possessed was something all magic users envied but could never attain. But now, even maintaining a basic living has become a huge challenge. So Zai Xuan had to accept this commission. Seeing him accept the commission, Xing Yuming was overjoyed. Meet at the dungeon entrance at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Zai Xian told him not to worry and just focus on his own affairs. Xing Yuming picked up his coffee and smiled. I also have to go there to deal with something. Brother, see you tomorrow. In the blink of an eye, it was the next morning, and a large number of hunters had already gathered at the entrance of the Phoenix dungeon. Zai Xian also changed into his equipment and waited there. After almost an hour, Xing Yuming was still nowhere to be seen. But as the older brother, he wasn't angry. After all, Xing Yuming is an A-rank magic hunter. He is just a D-rank martial arts hunter. It might be better to let him be in charge of capable hunters. Zai Xian also doesn't understand. Xing Yuming's ability is fully capable of making him a popular figure in the labor union. But she just had to work at Hunter Brokerage Company. But what right does she have to judge others? The image of a man with a serious expression appeared in his mind, scolding him as a useless fellow. A voice behind him brought him back to his senses. Turning his head, he saw that it was Mingho Ji, whom he had known for a long time. He was also commissioned to serve as a human shield. Zai Xuan couldn't help but exclaim. The martial arts department really fought hard for their survival. Kemminghage doesn't think so. He believes that close combat is a man's romance. Zai Xian's expression was indifferent upon hearing this. What bullshit romance? He himself was already about to starve to death. Mingho saw that his expression was somewhat downcast. Then they helplessly decided to go to dinner together after the event. This time, I'll pay the bill myself. Zai Xian suddenly became speechless, with a smile on his face. He said, I'm sorry, but still agreed. At this moment, a bodyguard in black suddenly shouted. Everyone, please gather at the dungeon entrance. We will enter in 30 minutes. The martial arts practitioners who heard this all looked helpless. He knew this dungeon raid was likely to be more dangerous than rewarding. Zai Xian took a deep breath and prayed for himself. Then she took out her phone and looked through the attendee copy rules. 1. In the dungeon, unexpected treasures will be found. 2. People will consider that wealth as luck. And that luck would numb the attendees' rationality, planting seeds of laxity in their hearts. When people are unable to make the right judgment, the test of the copy officially begins. At that time, people will know whether what they hold in their hands is true luck or tragedy disguised as luck. Zai Xian hadn't finished reading the second guideline. Mingho Ji, who was standing beside him, urged him to stop daydreaming. Is he looking at his girlfriend's photo on his phone before entering the instance? Zishuan shook his head slightly and smiled sadly. Her fingers moved slightly, then she smiled happily. On his phone was a picture of him and his mother. Mom, I'll be right back, he said, put away his phone and walked toward the dungeon entrance. Then, everyone entered the Phoenix. In a flash, a large horde of zombies suddenly charged forward. Seeing this, the team leader shouted loudly. Frontline, raise your shields! Even in death, I must defend my position. Wen Yan Zishuan was fuming with anger. He really wanted to rush over and punch that person. The mages behind them were also in the camp at this moment. Intense magic suddenly filled the entire room. At this moment, the magic skills of 100 flowers blooming are all being unleashed. It didn't take long to eliminate the entire zombie horde. Zixian couldn't help but turn his head to look behind him. They were from the Liuxing Workers' Union, which had been established recently and was already making waves. I thought this A-level dungeon would be easy to conquer. Moments later, everyone rested at the door of the reporting room. Lin Haoge drank a soda and shouted, "So refreshing! I'm complaining about how old I am. I get tired after just a few things." Then he asked Zixuan if he had picked up any dropped items. Zixuan immediately opened his system backpack to check. The scene before his eyes made him frown slightly. The system suddenly started acting like a vase. And sharp, piercing sounds constantly reached her ears. A sharp pain suddenly surged into his mind. When Zixian came to his senses, Ace's system was found to be paralyzed. This has never happened before. Even restarting won't allow the system to open again. At this moment, a soft whisper suddenly came to my ear. "Following the light." Hearing this, Zixuan immediately looked around but couldn't find the source of the sound. At this moment, the Asa God system sent another prompt. An unknown line infiltrated the Asgard system. Safe mode performs system recovery. System recovery failed. Zixian furrowed his brows at the sight. What was that voice he had heard just now? Zixian's eyes were filled with countless shimmering lights. Then, following the light, they arrived at a cave somewhere in the dungeon. The system was restarted midway. But it still shows that the Asa God system is paralyzed. Seeing this, Zixuan only felt a headache. From the moment he became an awakened, his system had never failed for 17 years. Not to mention system damage or system recovery. Could not help but suspect it was the voice from just now. Let the Asa God system undergo some changes in the dark. The Asgardian gods are those who have always lived in Asgard, led by Odin and Thor. The system is named Asgard because he is the last hope and fortress of people standing at the end of despair. Originally, the year 2035 was called the disaster year. The Pacific Ocean suddenly grew a towering tree, which reached a height that could block out the sun in just 9 days. Some say that is the sign of the blue star's impending destruction. Some also call it the wishing tree. Half of the world's population died as a result, and half of the survivors perished from famine and disease. When everyone was struggling in despair, a small hope was quietly born. It is the first awakener. He welcomed the mighty divine power, and single-handedly repelled the demonic beast to defend the stiff-headed. Hunters of monsters among the awakened are called hunters. The Asa system is the most powerful weapon the hunter has. Unconsciously, Zixian had already walked to a stone gate. He looked up, his eyes full of surprise. A smile touched the corners of the mouth. Because the treasure door that appears in front of you is extremely rare. Behind it is a room hiding countless treasures. If I get a level 1 or higher item here, I can immediately end this disgusting life. So Zixian prayed to God, begging him to let her draw an A-level or higher item. Then, he pushed open the long sealed door of the treasure. Suddenly, before my eyes was a paradise-like wonderland. The treasure on the central fountain radiates a dazzling golden light. Zixian looked around excitedly. Just looking at these items, they were definitely valuable. He then stepped forward to take the treasure. As his hand touched the golden light, the originally paralyzed system gradually recovered. Then Zixian took the treasure that looked like an eyeball. The system immediately pops up a window, the world's only mythical item, Odin's Eye of the Master. After equipping, it becomes an exclusive item. Active skill absolute calculation, can decompose and destroy the computational structure of magic. Because of mastering Nirwin, users don't need to learn to use powerful advanced magic. Consuming blank cards can copy other people's skills. Zixian never thought it would be a mythical item. The highest grade item that has been auctioned so far is S grade. Even so, it can still be sold for hundreds of millions of yuan. Then the value of mythical items is self-evident. It's enough to let him live a carefree and happy life for several lifetimes. He then walked towards the main force. Mingho, who was behind me, had a fierce look on his face. This kid is only 27 years old, how come he's gone crazy? Zixian was relieved that he had tricked his way through. Keep in mind that dungeon instances are inherently lawless enemies. Showing off good items here is simply suicidal. At this moment, the team leader started to rearrange the battle team. But unexpectedly, the roof suddenly collapsed. Seeing this, Zixian quickly dodged the falling debris. But strange objects suddenly began to float around. Seeing many people in the bleeding strangely, Zixian immediately covered his mouth and nose. He couldn't believe it was actually poison. If you inhale a certain amount, you will die. You must get out of here quickly. Mingho also sensed the danger. Zixian saw that he was safe and sound and felt relieved. A servant pierced Mingho's heart with a sharp blade. Seeing this scene, fear arose in Zixian's heart. He ran towards the dungeon entrance with the wind at his back. A sudden explosion. The poisonous gas scattered throughout the copy, and the teammate who was killed. This is not something World of Warcraft can do. Clearly, the copycat assassin is hunting. At this moment, a lightning chain suddenly attacked from behind. Seeing this, Zhaixuan quickly bent down to dodge the attack. The familiar voice came from behind. I knew you would survive, brother. And the one who spoke was Zai Xian's younger brother, Xing Yiming. I told you I would come see you today. Zai Xian's expression turned grave after hearing this. So it was you who spread the poison and attacked the Meteor Guild. Why would you do this? Xing Yiming, with a sly smile, said. Of course it's my client who asked me to do this. Liuxing Guild looks down on other guilds, so how can they not attract hatred? This angered Zai Xian, clenching his jaw. Copy assassins are a group of people who exploit the closed nature of dungeons. The person who comes to complete the slaughter mission. Zheng Yiming is an A-level magician. He is among the top 2% of experts in the country. With Zhaixuan's D-level strength, breaking it is simply impossible. Now the Asa God system has not fully recovered. He is not fully confident that he can escape from here. Although the following actions are shameless, he has no other choice. He certainly still remembers those who once fought alongside him. Especially Mingho, he wanted to avenge him. But the reality is that he can do nothing at all. I'll pretend I didn't see this today. So, before his voice even faded, Xing Yiming's body was covered in golden lightning. Then a chain of lightning condensed and struck at Zhaixuan. Zai Xian, though having dodged in time, had a face full of fear. If I had reacted a little slower just now, I would definitely be dead by now. Xing Yiming saw his sorry figure and laughed wildly. Brother, do you know? The target of this attack is not just Meteor Guild. Having said that, he switched to a tree root lightning chain to attack Zai Xian. The huge gap in strength forced Zhaixuan to choose to evade. He doesn't understand why he keeps biting himself. He was just an ordinary Tier 2 hunter. Who would want to give up their own life? The image of that man reappeared in her mind. How could I give birth to such a waste as you? Zai Xian's expression suddenly became serious. Was it my dad who sent you? Xing Yiming's words froze him in his tracks. The chain of lightning, ready to narrate, also stopped attacking. Her body trembled uncontrollably with excitement. Bursts of extremely sarcastic laughter came from the mouth. Brother, you react quickly. I like this about you. Zhaixuan's expression turned incredibly gloomy at this moment. And I recalled my mother who loved me dearly. Xing Yiming, I just have one question for you. First, kill his wife. This time he wants to erase his own son. At this moment, a chain of lightning flashed past his ear. Is this too much? Brother, you think so too, right? Forget it. It has already come to this. Have a good journey, brother. Zhaixuan's expression darkened upon learning the truth, his anger surging through his limbs. At this moment, the paralyzed Asa system began to reconstruct itself. Zhaixuan resolutely equipped himself with the Odin's Eye. A powerful magic gushed out from him. Seeing this, Xing Yiming broke out in a cold sweat. He had never seen such powerful magic. Immediately switched back to lightning chain. We must quickly deal with this guy. The lightning chain instantly thrust a punch towards Zhaixuan's head. However, Zai Xian just opened his beautiful, delicate eyes. The chain of lightning that struck instantly shattered and disintegrated. The system then prompts to equip Odin Isher's Eye. This equipment has become the exclusive item of the user. You have a blank card that can be used. Zai Xian smiled wryly. Understood. Anyway, it can't be sold anymore. Xing Yiming, standing beside him, was filled with shock, unable to believe that the magic had been broken. Zai Xian didn't bother to pay attention to his complete failure. Xing Yiming, I will try my best to make you die painfully. Speak, directly use the blank card. Copy Xing Yiming's active skill lightning chain. Several lightning chains suddenly appeared behind Qin Kejian. Xing Yiming saw this and felt fear. How can you use the lightning chain? This magic took me several years to master. I don't know why you're using such advanced magic, but do you really think you can defeat me with this alone? Zai Xian snorted coldly after hearing this. Won't the truth be revealed? Several lightning chains shot toward Xing Yiming. Xing Yiming quickly switched to the lightning chain to counterattack. The sound of clashing iron chains echoed in the dungeon. Xing Yiming fell down shortly after. Immediately, an electric ball condensed in his hand. Iron chains, entangled with raging lightning, lay still, drawing towards Zai Xian. Zhaixuan saw this and immediately activated Absolute Eye Calculation. The chain of lightning that struck instantly shattered and disintegrated. And at the same time, he drove the lightning chain towards Xing Yiming. Xing Yiming hurriedly constructed the base of the magic shield. Zhaixuan would never give him a chance to breathe. To activate the Absolute Eye Calculation, destroy the magic shield's calculation structure. But his physical strength and magic power were completely exhausted. Now he is the ruined lord in the wind. Ran closed her eyes and waited quietly for death. The system suddenly prompted, "New operating system download complete. Execute the system?" After executing the new operating system, users can travel to the point in time they most want to return to. When Yan Zixuan opened his eyes again. Although he didn't know which point in time he had traveled to. But this is the only choice he has now. Resolutely choose to implement the system. Guest room. The system interface gradually turned red. The new operating system, the Norn system, has been implemented. 3 holy and noble angels appeared before his eyes, uttering unspeakable meanings. She extended the sacred amulet towards Zixuan with a smile. The system immediately prompted. "From now on, you are the most famous person in the Asgard clan. Those who have acquired passive skills are admired by gods and mortals alike." She obtains the passive skill Absolute God's Will. The opponents of the Acer will be watching. The words had barely left his lips when Zixuan suddenly woke up from his bed. Looking around in disbelief. Noticed a photo with his mother on the table. "I never thought I would actually come back. So, will I be able to see my mother who loves me again?" At this moment, a blonde woman skillfully opened the door. The child, just waking up, smiled like the rising sun. Zixuan ran towards her with tears in his eyes. Hold his mother close, who has loved him every day for decades. "Mom, I really miss you." At this time, the system sound rang. New task rest as the mother of success automatically revealed. Physical recovery to 80% rewards a blank card. Seeing this, Zixuan decided to organize his thoughts first. First, the system sent itself back to 2020. So in a few days, it will be the important day to fill in the application form. Zixuan immediately picked up a pen. Erased the label that once marked the choice of the dancing fight department. This matter, however, has become a powerful magician. Then they went to the living room to eat. Eating her mother's cooking again made her choke up a little. Her mother felt extremely sorry seeing her gasp for breath. "Never seen my son cry so sadly. Are you worried about something recently?" Zixuan smiled faintly and shook his head. "I just had a dream. A nightmare that he never wants to remember again." "Right, Mom, I want to change my major to magical studies." Mom nodded readily without asking why. "No matter what choice you make, Mom will always support you." When Yan Zixuan's eyes sparkled with tears, he silently vowed to give his mother the best life. So now is not the time to cry. If imagining avenging father as an A-rank hunter, I have to be stronger than I once was. After dinner, she returned to her room to exercise. She successfully completed the task and received a blank card. Currently, Zixuan possesses the knowledge of the future, those hidden levels, and the location of every single one. The problem lies in skills, besides absolute calculation and lightning chains. The remaining skills are all from the Wudo system. Thinking of this, Zixuan sighed helplessly. He then switched to his personal panel. The level has now returned to level 7. Each attribute value is also initialized. But the passive skill is still at the level before the "What's going on?" system explanation in the role of those whose skills are admired by the gods. Passive skills of the user before transmigration are retained. And users gain 1 point for each attribute value with every level upgrade. Zixuan was greatly shocked. He didn't expect this skill to be so exaggerated. Then he looked towards another passive Absolute God's Eye, able to penetrate illusory illusions and grasp the essence of things. This ambiguous introduction made him confused. But Lightning Chain was indeed a good skill. He then realized that he had 21 points to allocate. Clarity of magic is the most important for a magician. But in the end, he put most of his points into stamina. It's simply because endurance can slow down the pace of fatigue, making it more important than magic and physical strength in a protracted war. Zixuan then took out a blank card, thinking about what skill he should learn. The offensive skills have already been transformed by lightning. Even if I barely manage to copy advanced magic, insufficient magical power prevents me from unleashing its true potential. So, what is most needed now is healing skills. Nowadays, compared to the martial arts system, the treatment of the magic department is extremely poor. But if it is a depraved person who possesses healing abilities, no matter where, she always receives aristocratic treatment. It's almost impossible to find an awakener with healing powers at the moment. At this moment, the phone on the table suddenly buzzed. Zixuan immediately picked it up to see who was looking for him. Then her expression became extremely serious. "I can't believe it's Jin Yiqing." Jin Yiqing was a childhood friend of Zixuan. The two were very lucky to be admitted to Miles College together. All have a dream of becoming a bad habit person. But campus life was also the beginning of Zixuan's nightmare. He watched helplessly as Jin Yiqing died in his arms. Zixuan recalled the past, not without a cold sweat. Swore in her heart that this return must change the ending. Then he looked at the messages Jin Yiqing kept sending. This girl is still the same as I remember. Jin Yoqing's messages were already flooding the screen. He immediately put on his clothes and went out to meet Jin Yiqing. At the same time, a Rolls-Royce was heading towards the city. Lu Xingcai looked at the chairman and said in a low voice, "Chairman, your complexion seems to be getting worse. How about we cancel today's schedule?" Lu Xing'an, sitting in the back row, smiled gently. "It's okay, just a little tired." Wenyan Lixingkai also had a helpless look on his face. Each time the sacrifice is launched, it will consume Lu Xing'an's life force. I hope that another person who masters healing magic like sacrifice will appear. In this case, Lu Xing'an's body can be cured. Otherwise, the saint everyone looks up to will soon fall. On the other side, Jin Yiqing was pulling Zai Xian through the bustling streets. Little did he know that Jin Yiqing had a special kind of feeling for him. Then the two finally arrived at the park where Lu Xing'an was giving a speech. Looking around at the various posters of promotional speeches, Zi Xian couldn't help but marvel at Lu Xing'an's reputation as the president of the Lotus Guild. He is the top therapist known by everyone in the country, and even the whole world. In this era when the hunter-killer was not yet known to the public, he was the first to stand up and fight to protect humanity. Thinking of this, Zi Xuan couldn't help but sigh. 2 months later, Lu Xing'an will be seriously injured in battle and face death. The official therapeutic magic trap that led to his death. Only he can save himself. At this time, Lu Xing'an stood on the stage giving a speech. Tell everyone that the whole world is facing an unprecedented disaster. For a better tomorrow, we hope that awakened ones will actively become hunters. And expressed that the Lianhua Guild and he himself would give their full support. This speech made Zixuan admire him. Nowadays, most awakeners are unwilling to become hunters. After all, fighting monsters on the front line is not an easy task. Zixuan was the same before his time travel. He just wanted to sell the props and live a leisurely life. After the speech, Zixuan told Jin Yoqing that he had something to do. Jin Yiqing couldn't help but wonder what it was. But Zixuan did not answer, telling himself that he changed his major to magic form. Teach yourself theoretical magic knowledge when the time comes. After finishing speaking, she waved her hand and walked towards the crowd. Jin Yiqing was a little angry to see him leave. This heartless guy really left me behind. After Zixuan searched carefully, finally found the Rolls-Royce that Lu Xing'an was riding in. He walked towards the car by himself. Smiling, she expressed her desire to see Lu Xing'an. Lu Xingcai, beside the car, sighed helplessly, thinking it was another fan. Mian Lu glared at Zixuan and yelled at him to leave immediately. Zixuan still smiled when he saw this. I know that Chairman Lu Xing'an has an incurable disease, and only I can cure his illness. Lu Xingcai was greatly shocked after hearing this. His face instantly turned fierce, demanding to know where Zixuan heard it from. A gentleman's word is his bond. The girl was originally a top-tier healer admired by thousands. He is now suffering from an incurable disease and has less than 2 months to live. The only one who can save him is this kid in front of him. Because the man possesses the world's only blank card. The healing magic crisis that can stubbornly affect girls. With just a little intervention, his incurable disease can be completely cured. It was when Zixuan claimed he could cure all diseases in the world. Lu Xing'an had the thought of living for a while. Then she had Zixuan get in the car and find a quiet place to talk. Zixuan then came to the Lotus Guild. Lu Xing'an curiously asked, "How did you know I have an incurable disease?" When Yan Zixuan's expression was indifferent. "This I cannot tell you. If the chairman insists on knowing, I will not treat you." These words made Lu Xing'an chuckle. What a clever child. So, do you have a plan on how to treat me? Zixuan frankly said no. I plan to copy your performance skills, Chairman. Upon seeing this flower, Lu Xing'an's face was filled with astonishment. Lu Xingcai roared angrily. Stinky brat, do you know what Xianji's skill is? That is the chairman's exclusive skill. Even S-rank hunters cannot find it. It turns out that in people's eyes, exclusive skills are one level higher than S-class skills. Exclusive skills can only be obtained through bloodline inheritance, or self-realization. But for Zai Xian, it's a different story. It means that if I didn't have that ability, I wouldn't have taken the initiative to come in the first place. He knew that it was Xianji that caused Lu Xing'an's incurable disease. The true meaning contained within the skill of Xianji is sacrifice, or offering sacrifices to the gods. Therefore, Lu Xing'an could not use her performance to treat her illness. It can be replaced by someone else, and used to heal others with his skill. Lu Xing'an was glowing with golden light at this moment. Since you've said so much, then prove it to me. As soon as the words were spoken, Lu Xing'an immediately demonstrated his technical skills. The faint angel's meaning emerged behind him. Zixuan, robust and healthy, smiled. He secretly switched out the blank cards he had prepared. The system immediately prompted that a new skill, had been learned by consuming a blank card. The calculation for the performance flashed into Zixian's mind. Active skill emits a healing light wave that restores HP and removes abnormal status. This skill can be transformed into an attack skill when used on undead monsters. This skill is a skill that consumes blank cards to copy. Its side effects will not take effect. Zixian was secretly delighted with his robust health. He hadn't expected the performance to be so beneficial to him. Then he looked at Lu Xing'an with a calm expression. You guys probably still don't believe me. After all, simply being able to cure oneself is not enough. He already has the bargaining chips. Zixian immediately voiced his thoughts. I want to invite you to be my sponsor. Lu Xing'an frowned slightly. Do you want me to help you become a formidable hunter? Zixian immediately nodded. You are right. My dream is big, but the road to growth requires more than just money and connections. But he was not calm at all. He was indeed the chairman of the Lotus Guild. At this moment, Lu Xing'an stated his condition. You also know that my illness is a personal matter. This is not related to the Lotus Guild. However, you want more than just my support, you want the support of the entire Lotus Guild. So, do you have a guild you want to join? Zixian felt cold after hearing this. He didn't expect this woman's insight to be so terrifying. He asked nervously. Is there a third point? Lu Xing'an got up immediately. Of course there is. The third point is the most important one. Speak. Gently lift Zixian's chin. You're not nervous at all in front of me now. A child who can stand before the president of the Lotus Guild without any nervousness is very charming. Are these reasons enough for me to recruit you? Have you heard of the right of first refusal? These words instantly made Zixian's expression surprised. The right of priority negotiation refers to the guild selecting some trainees who have not yet graduated and providing support for their growth. After they graduate, the union can prioritize signing a contract with her. Not only exceptionally talented geniuses and starseeds receive this kind of invitation. I sincerely apologize for my previous rude behavior. When Zixian nodded slightly. It's okay. If I were you, I wouldn't believe a child either. At this time, the system prompted that the other party's illness had been successfully cured. Emergency treatment skill has been upgraded to level 19. Zixian, who was healthy and strong, told Lu Xing'an that the treatment was over and she could move around to experience the effects of the treatment. Lu Xing'an hurried to the windowsill. The light of healing gathers in his hand, and he feels the changes in his body. Tears streamed down from the corners of my eyes. The illnesses that have plagued me for years have really all disappeared. Then somewhat worriedly asked. After curing me, you will be affected by side effects, right? Little did they know that Zixian's performance skills had no side effects. However, Zixian naturally wouldn't tell the truth. It's fine with me. By then, wouldn't you, the chairman, just treat me? Lu Xing'an chuckled softly and nodded in agreement. Then he handed Zixian his business card and said, I will do my best to meet all your requirements. You can contact me anytime from now on. Please also carefully consider the conditions I mentioned earlier. Zixian took the business card from Chinyin for a moment. Actually, I do have something to ask of the chairman right now. The next morning, Zixian was accompanied by Lu Xingcai. We arrived at the low-level dungeon of the Lotus Guild. This is exactly what Zixian asked Lu Xing'an to do yesterday. Miles College is known to be a place where countless geniuses gather. To survive there, upgrading is essential. New Mage Solo's level 1 dungeon. I thought I could easily pass through with powerful magic. She accidentally broke into hell, the underworld of the Death Goddess. Merely the aura emitted by the copy boss is enough to shock the soul and make people lose the will to fight. Originally, Zixian wanted to significantly improve his strength before the start of school. Let Lu Xing'an arrange for her to go to a low-level dungeon for training. And the Lotus Guild had also prepared complete supplies for him. And the new staves that mages can use. Kuliushing was still a little worried. Soloing a level 1 instance is very dangerous for newbies. Doesn't understand why Zixian insists on challenging alone. Zixian toyed with his staff and replied casually. I just want to live a long life. When Lu Xingcai sighed helplessly, he took out the teleportation stone from his system inventory and gave it to him. Inform him to escape immediately if he encounters danger. This is also an apology for my unreasonable behavior yesterday. Zixian simply accepted the teleportation stone. Then she turned and walked towards the dungeon portal. Judging from the magic power felt, it is indeed a level 1 copy. But when he completely stepped into the teleportation gate, his whole body was instantly entwined with extremely terrifying magic power. Affected by the Nuancy system, the user has been teleported to the designated area. Encounter with the King of Helheim, cited by Yin. On the other side, Lu Xing'an was sitting in his office, closing his eyes and resting. It is almost impossible for new players to clear low-level dungeons. curious about what Szechuan is planning. At this moment, a beautiful woman in black stockings walked into the office. He handed the information about Zai Xian to Lu Xing'an. Chairman focuses on opening the information. Adjusting the endless doubts in that heart, the chairman rarely personally extended an olive branch. What is so special about this newcomer named Ming Szechuan? At that moment, Lu Xing'an suddenly exclaimed. His major is actually martial arts. Could he still use that kind of magic at that time? He immediately checked Szechuan's magic scores. The whole person froze in the chair. I can't believe Szechuan's magic score is 97%. He quickly asked if the information below would be wrong. Diao Xian Naduding said. If the system is not malfunctioning, it should be true. Lu Xing'an immediately called Lu Xingcai after hearing this. Now, however, she abandons her previous hard work and effort, resolutely turning to magic. He changed completely overnight. Zai Xian is currently in the king's desire. Before he could figure out what was going on, Hai Gu Bowman lurking in the darkness appeared quietly. At this moment, a Shurgui crawled out from underground, and 4 sickle specters suddenly appeared behind. Zai Xian saw this scene and couldn't help but sneer. This ghostly place is really crazy. Originally, Helheim was the realm of the dead, ruled by Hel, daughter of Loki, in the 9 realms of Norse mythology. The copy is modeled after everything except Midgard and Asgard. 7 other worlds were built. And the 7 worlds are Niflheim, the world of fog and frost. Muspelheim, the world of flames. Jotunheim, world of the giants. Alfheim, the world of elves. The world of the dark elves Svartalfheim. The world of the Vanir Vanaheim. And the coldest and deepest world of Niflheim, it's Helheim. Hemingway's world is very difficult for beginners to conquer. The fear of an enemy who can die and come back to life is self-evident. Without divine power, nothing can compare to it. But for Szechuan, there were no worries. Was originally a healing skill. When the target is an undead monster, it transforms into a highly destructive light judgment. However, Szechuan didn't want to rely too much on group attack skills. The system then prompts that the level has been increased by 1. Zai Xian, who had fallen to the ground, gasped for breath. Shuncher felt magic and physical strength filling her whole body. Luckily, he leveled up right at this moment. Light judgment almost drained his magic power. If you cannot grasp the essentials of magic, you may not be so lucky next time. Then she prepared to use the teleportation array to leave the side gate. However, a terrifying aura suddenly surged from behind him. Zai Xian turned around but found nothing. Then came the saint's roar on her deathbed. Szechuan felt something was wrong and realized he had to leave immediately. Immediately covered her mouth with her hand. He was afraid that nearby monsters might hear the sound and approach. However, the beast had quietly come behind him. It was the copy of Dark Knight Soul's Shadow Outbreak that exuded an extremely terrifying aura. The system immediately prompted that the user and the target level difference was too large and had reached a dangerous level. Please leave the dungeon immediately. Szechuan couldn't help but find his own situation ridiculous. Immediately switch out the props and take out the teleportation device. And Dark Knight Soul's Shadow's heavy punch also landed at this moment. Zai Xian had not yet activated her teleportation ability. He was instantly knocked several meters away. He watched as the shadowy figure slowly walked towards him. Szechuan wanted to get up and run away, but he found his legs had dislocated. He could only watch helplessly as the shadowy figure from the Dark Knight rushed towards him. But just as he was resolutely accepting the arrival of death, Lan Yan's puzzled look subtly disturbed Zai Xian. Although the magic is pretty good, it's still a long way from being able to fight against the Asgardian gods. Why did Loki choose you to be a rebel? When Yen Szechuan was completely baffled. Only know that consciousness is gradually dissipating. She was unwilling to die so miserably after being reborn. Seeing his furious gaze, he shone and smiled. I am very satisfied with your eyes. But child, you are too weak. The end is near. You need to become stronger faster. Defeat the Dark Knight Soul's shadow in front of you again. If you do it, I will give you a very special gift. But I only give you 2 months. If during this period you are unable to let me see your growth, then you will die by my hand. Instantly Zai Xian was enveloped by an extremely terrifying divine power. He opened his eyes again and found himself back at the entrance to the dungeon. And all the wounds on his body were healed as before. The main quest, her test, has been activated. Zai Xian broke out in a cold sweat after reading the mission introduction. I unexpectedly encountered the mythical goddess of death, recalling the rebels that here mentioned. And the system says it is the greatest enemy of the Asgardian race. This huge amount of information gave him a headache. The only thing I can be sure of is that I must become stronger. Otherwise, he will definitely be killed by Ho personally. To defeat the Dark Soul's shadow within 2 months is indeed a good goal for Zai Xian. He is not yet familiar with the mage's fighting style. Even low-level magic hasn't been completely explored. Even wanting to go further, you must lay a solid foundation. At this moment, Pak Sun suddenly sent a message. Lu Xing'an said she wants to meet him tomorrow and asked how he considered the previously mentioned contract. Zai Xuan was overjoyed. He was just about to ask Liu Xing'an to teach him the basics of magic. Immediately type a reply, "See you tomorrow," and said that if he could get the chairman to agree to one more request, he would join the Manhwa Workers' Union. The next morning, Zai Xuan went to the Manhwa Trade Union. They must be reaching out to me. It should be his Awakener assessment report. A magic score of up to 97% is probably hard to find a second one in the world. Later, they went to the Manhwa Trade Union, where the practitioners trained in combat formations. Lu Xing'an had already changed into his battle suit, and was waiting again. Zai Xian also looked at her with more appreciation. Go forward and ask what the contract terms are like. Zai Xuan frankly stated that the benefits are very good. Not only is there a living allowance, but also unlimited provision of guild equipment below grade B. Income earned when challenging a copy will be split 80/20 between the individual and the guild, based on contribution. This is at least a substitute that A-level and above Rift users can have. Zai Xian is naturally quite satisfied. But Zai Xian still wants to make a request here. Lu Xing'an smiled playfully and asked him what his requirement was. Zai Xian frankly said that he transferred from the martial arts department to the magic department less than a month ago. Not very familiar with how to use magic yet. Therefore, his request was that Lu Xing'an would personally teach him magic. After all, Lu Xing'an is one of the few S-class Rift users. With his guidance, our strength will surely increase significantly. It means that as long as they accept this condition, they will sign a priority negotiation agreement with the Manhwa Trade Union. Lu Xing'an laughed after hearing this. I agree to your request. After all, I am also very interested in you. But before that, I want to confirm your talent. As Lu Xing'an snapped his fingers, a giant Rubik's Cube suddenly rose behind him. From now on, you have to conquer this magic cube. The talents worthy of signing a priority negotiation right contract with the Lotus Union must at least achieve this level, right? Zai Xian looked up in shock. Among all magic awakened, only 7% of hunters can conquer the magic cube. Can I really do it now? Curiously asked Lu Xing'an. Does this want to dampen one's own spirit? Lu Xing'an shook her head slightly. Of course not. Even if you fail, I will still sign a contract with you. The terms of the contract will not change. I guarantee this to you as the president of the Lotus Union. When Zai Xian's expression remained unchanged, and the people were restless. Even if there is a possibility of failure, we can only move forward now. At this time, Lu Xing'an came to Piao Xingcai. Xingcai ji, please help prepare. Pak Xingcai also sweated for Zai Xuan. Is it really okay to do this? Chairman. A general magic series participant. They are all very difficult to conquer the magic cube of magic power. What's more, Zai Xian is still immature. Lu Xing'an revealed a smile. Do you think the child in front of us is ordinary? Park Songjaemin knew that he valued Zai Xuan very much. He turned around and pressed the button on the screen. In an instant, the magic cube condensed into a vortex. Zai Xuan could feel the powerful magic contained within. Take a deep breath to cheer myself up. Then she unhesitatingly walked into the magic cube. After Zai Xian opened his eyes again, astonished to discover that this place is actually an ocean where magic power converges. Jian could breathe normally again and let out a sigh of relief. At first, he was worried about mana poisoning. But if you stay in a place with high mana concentration for a long time, your cardiopulmonary function will decline rapidly. It can even lead to death. The first priority is to find a way out. And there is only one way out, which is among countless vortexes. Find the only door that connects to the outside world. Therefore, Zai Xuan immediately calmed down and focused. Seeking a path to connect with the outside world amidst chaotic fluctuations. Soon found the same magic vortex. Its center is a dazzling crystal. Zai Xuan felt his unparalleled aura. It seems to hold all the magic of the ocean. Meanwhile, outside the Rubik's Cube, both Piao Xingcai and Lu Xianen were looking forward to Zai Xian's performance. Chairman, how long do you think it will take him to conquer? Lu Xianen answered calmly. I spent about 40 minutes before. This is already the fastest speed in the country. After listening, Piao Xingcai paused for a moment. Then now, there are only two possibilities. One is that he simply cannot escape from the Rubik's Cube. Another is that he will create a new record. Lu Xing'an agreed with him that Zai Xian would not crawl out sickly. At that moment, several cracks suddenly appeared on the peaceful magic cube. The two were greatly shocked to see this scene. Piao Xingcai quickly took out his phone. It's unbelievable that only 10 minutes have passed. He was very curious about what happened inside. Originally, Zai Xuan discovered that crystal. This must be the key to unlocking the magic cube of law power. Therefore, he immediately held the crystal in his hand. As the crystal in his hand was crushed, this sea of magic power also shattered. At the beginning, Lu Xin, an S-class player, also took almost 40 minutes. Even the fastest Karami through the magic cube. It also took 36 minutes. But now this record has been broken by Zai, even faster than the world record by 26 minutes. This means that Zai magical power is stronger than the magic crystal. Ming Zai, congratulations on passing the test. From today onwards I will bet on the reputation of the Lotus Workers Union and mine, Lu Xin. I will definitely train you to be the most powerful magician. Are you ready? Scene changes. Jin Yuqing is waiting for Zai to come home with his mother. At this moment, a Rolls-Royce slowly appeared in front of them. The next second, Zai got out of the car. For a moment, they couldn't believe their own eyes. They even guessed if Zai was being kept by a wealthy woman. Because the boy cured the rich woman's late-stage illness with his skills. This made Liu Xingnan happy again. Zai got to ride in a Rolls-Royce at this age. A level 1 awakener accompanies him on every trip. But Zai Xian's recent unusual actions. This aroused Jin Yuqing's suspicion. Besides getting off the mysterious luxury car, Zai Xian also gave up his dream of being a martial arts student. Zai explained that he was not suitable for the martial arts department. This is when she switched to the magic department. But she had long been familiar with Zai Xian's golden friendship and didn't believe these words at all. Zai Xian initially did this so that his mother wouldn't suffer. This is why he chose a combat-type specialization that wasn't suited for him. Okay. Let's not talk about it anymore. How come you're at my place? Did your parents go on a business trip again? So I came to play with you. Auntie said I should stay here for one night before leaving. To know that Jin Yuqing is a real rich second generation, her parents will sell Warcraft products to various countries. Therefore, they often travel abroad on business trips. It is precisely for this reason that Jin Yuqing often stays home alone. Because Zai mother has a good relationship with her parents. Therefore, Jin Yuqing often stays at Zai Xian's house. Should I take this opportunity to teach me some magic? Do you want me to teach you for free? What do you want? You tell me first, and then I'll decide if I can agree. So I haven't really thought about it yet. Would you grant me a wish? No matter what wish I make, you have to help me realize it. Seeing Zai malicious smile, Jin Yuqing grabbed a pillow from beside her and threw it at her. In the past, Zai would have definitely fought back without hesitation. Having gone through so much, she now feels an immense warmth in her life. At the same time, a powerful hunter. She is currently conquering nearby. Many monster corpses had already piled up in front of her. And this man is Zai Xian's father, Min Qingao. Thanks to you, we were able to easily defeat this monster. It has been a long time since I defeated a monster so easily. If you can join our union, then we will definitely become even stronger. Would you consider joining our union? If it were you, our Xinghong Trade Union would definitely give you the best treatment. But the next second, the man felt a terrifying aura. You can escape from the Rubik's Cube in 10 minutes. Come on. Attack me? Zai didn't say anything. He directly took up a fighting stance. Lu Xingyan immediately recognized this as the most standard posture of the martial arts department. Zai Xian punched forward with a fierce blow. Unexpectedly, this punch was easily caught by Lu Xingyan. Zai Xian did not expect his attack to be ineffective. Lu Xingyan is a magic-based hunter. Jianji Cheng. Zai Xian quickly pulled away. It seems like you still haven't understood some things. You are no longer the martial arts warrior you once were. How can a mage charge in without a plan? What do you think is the biggest difference between martial arts and magic? Wudo Shi is close-range attack. The magic department is a ranged attack. That's right. Generally speaking, magic-type hunters will first weaken the enemy from a distance. Then he would rejoin the fight. This is the most traditional way of fighting. But you always want to get close to the enemy. This way, a mage with weak defenses would soon fall. You now need the experience of a magician. From now on, I will also attack you. But don't worry, I won't let you get seriously injured. Moreover, I am a healer. I know that just now was not your true strength. Let me see your real identity then. Lu Xingyan's attack came straight at Zai Xian before she finished speaking. Fortunately, Zai dodged the attack by instinct. Okay, now it's your turn to attack. Suddenly, a flash of lightning appeared around Zai. In a flash, 3 lightning chains flew towards Lu Xingyan. However, Lu Xingyan remained standing still, unmoved. At this distance, Lu Xingyan definitely cannot avoid this attack. It was a level 1 lightning chain. You are truly a hidden expert. The next second, Lu Xingyan's attack was already in front of Zai Xian. Even the most impressive skills. It has no meaning if it doesn't suit you. You really surprised me. Although I deliberately reduced the power of the skill. But I didn't expect you to still be standing. Can you still handle this move? In Lu Xing'en's opinion, Zai Xuan's current state absolutely cannot avoid his own attacks. But to achieve the purpose of teaching, he still released his skill without hesitation. Lu Xing'en's holy bow and arrow unexpectedly dissipated in midair. The only explanation is, Zai Xian calculated and broke his magic in such a short time. You always surprise me. How many more surprises await me? I can't say for sure. The words, because of a bolt of lightning, suddenly sprang up from the ground like a chain. Fortunately, Lu Xing'en opened the protective shield in time to block it. Even so, Lu Xing'en's hand was still trembling. But before he could retaliate, lightning chains in the form of trees appeared behind Zai Xian again. Lu Xing'en then discovered Zai Xian seemed to be able to release skills without casting spells. The boy can freely release skills without casting spells. One look can disable the magic of an S-rank awakened. Keep in mind that this isn't something a novice magician can do. However, the magic power in Zai Xian's body was running out. You are truly gifted. It's just a pity that you're still too capable. Zai Xuan didn't even understand what had happened. He was already lying on the ground. You don't think you can beat me, do you? Even so, Lu Xing'en immediately pulled Zai Xian up from the ground. After this battle, Zai Xian also realized the gap between himself and the S-rank. However, Lu Xing'en saw infinite possibilities in Zai Xian. Your fighting style just gave me an idea. Everyone has considered this, but no one has achieved it. This is the only fighting style you can use. From now on, you can call me Lao Shi. Congratulations on becoming my first disciple. After returning home, Zai Xian still couldn't forget today's battle. Wei Mingzhejuan, are you even listening to me? If you keep behaving like this, I won't tutor you anymore. Now that you've come to your senses, let's get to the point. There are many types of magic, but the most important are only three. Offensive magic, buff magic, healing magic. With Zai Xian's ever-increasing understanding of magic, the nun system kept popping up with notifications reminding him. This feeling is like the system urging Zai Xuan to grow up quickly. You are really amazing. You can learn magic in 2 days, while others need a month. What's wrong? Didn't you also learn it in 3 days? Your growth speed is making me really anxious. Little did they know, Zai Xian is actually more anxious than Ji Niqing now. Because he had already gambled his life with the death goddess. Do you know how surprised I was when you said you were going to the martial arts performance? Even if magic shows are not that profitable. But you can't ignore such a high match rate. In a flash, Zai Xian saw countless chains in front of his eyes. Then a man slowly appeared behind him. The man walked step by step toward Zai Xian. Then she leaned down and whispered something in Zai Xian's ear. To get back to the point. You should also be practicing practical skills, right? Zai Xuan was dealing with Jin Youqing while recalling what had just happened. He wasn't sure if those people just now were his patients. He seemed to hear some strange sounds. However, Zai Xuan does not have time to deal with these matters now. Because he only had 2 months. Unless he can get a panacea to break this situation. The scene changes. Xing Sai is inspecting the martial arts training ground of the Lotus Workers Union. His task is to identify the problems of newcomers. And help them correct it in time. When Liu Xing'en arrived, Xing went over to report today's training situation. However, Lu Xing'en looked absent-minded all the time. You must be thinking about Zai Xuan, right? You are right, nothing can be hidden from you. If I remember correctly, Chairman, you wanted to give something to Zai Xuan. Many raiders have challenged it. But no one has ever succeeded. You should also see Zai Xuan's talent, right? If a new S-class mage hunter appears in the future, I believe that person must be Zai Xian. He will bring about a revolutionary change to the faculty of magic. But he suffered humiliation during his school years. The pill will be created by Li Zixuan 5 years later. Although Zixuan already knew the recipe. But what he made following the steps was simply useless. Budai Zixuan had to meet the current Li Zixuan. With his talent, maybe he can produce the earlier. Based on the current time, Li Zixuan should still be a first-year student at Miles College. Zai Xian then prepared to go to Miles Academy overnight. Where are you going? Give me a ticket to Dishi. Due to the rampant warcraft, the city is currently closed. Magical beasts are everywhere in the city. The moment you enter there, you will be in danger of your life. And those who still need to go to the prefecture-level city at this time. Then there is only one reason. This person is a student at the Miles Academy. It didn't take long for Zai Xian to arrive at the Miles Academy. Years later, walking again through the campus where he once studied, Zai Xian felt no nostalgia. Because this place brought endless pain to Zai Xian in his youth. Therefore, Li Zixuan, who hates fighting, shouldn't be at the training ground. Just as Zixuan was about to try his luck in the classroom. But suddenly, he heard a loud noise from the side. from the mouths of the spectators. A stutterer was being bullied at school. Recalling his past self, Zai Xuan decided to take a plunge into this murky water. He pushed his way through the crowd with a little effort. Without any hesitation, Zai Xian opened the large door in front of him. Just then, someone bumped into Zai Xuan. Seeing that he had bumped into someone, Jieba stammered an apology to Zai Xian. "Who are you? What business do you have with our Xiao Jieba?" And the stutter in the man's mouth. Suddenly, it was Li Zaishuan. "Are you okay, brother?" Before he could finish speaking, Zai Xuan slapped the hand of Huang Mao away. "I think you should go to the infirmary first. Can't you see him talking to Xiao Jieba? Is this the second time you've run into me? Why am I always being grabbed by the collar lately?" Zai Xian started to recall. Jin Yuqing teaches his own magic theory. In the way Lu Xing'an released her skills in my mind. In an instant, the holy bow and arrow struck Huang Mao directly. Huang Mao, in pain, immediately swung his sword at Zai Xian. But the next second, the sword was deflected straight out. Zai Xuan had just used the magic field. While Huang Mao hadn't reacted, Zai Xuan grabbed his face. "Now it should be over, right?" Then Huang Mao was knocked unconscious by the divine bow and arrow. The boy beat Huang Mao until he was incapacitated. But he took out a potion and treated him. Seeing the potion, Li Zaishuan panicked. As the potion was poured onto Huang Mao's face, his injuries were also visibly improving. "We should go to the infirmary now." Although he said that, Zai Xian did not go in the direction of the infirmary. "There should be no one around here. No matter what we say, no one will hear." Li Zaishuan subconsciously thought Zaishuan was someone sent by his father. Although Zaishuan said he doesn't know his father. But from Li Zaishuan's eyes, one could see that he didn't believe these words. "Why are you looking for me? I have something to ask you. I want you to make me a drug. I would never make something like that. Aren't you quite good at alchemy? Did you sell this medicine on the black market? Know that no one can investigate the trader's information from the black market. But it has already happened. Li Zaishuan is very curious. Who is the person in front of me? How did he investigate his personal information? This is correct, isn't it? I said this not to threaten you." Saying this, Zai Xian handed the medicine in his hand to Li Zaishuan. "I just need a talented alchemist. Help me make the medicine I need." Seeing Zai Xian's appearance, Li Zaishuan knew he wasn't talking. "Who are you exactly?" "I am Ming Zaishuan, a prospective student at Miles College. Let me hear your needs." They soon arrived at Li Zaishuan's studio. "What kind of medicine do you want me to make for you?" "I want a single drug that can permanently enhance my magical power." "Permanently enhance? How is that possible?" But the next second, Li Zaishuan then began to analyze the necessary raw materials. Zai Xuan discovered that his aura had completely changed at this moment. Not only not stuttering. Moreover, most of the raw materials can be inferred based on the needs alone. Such a powerful medicine, you should ask other alchemists for it. I just want to ask you, senior. I will provide everything you need. If there is a formula, most alchemists can make that single medicine. I am willing to believe in your ability, senior. An investment always has risks, doesn't it? This is the first time someone has believed in Li Zaishuan so much. He has always been in his father's shadow since he was born. Compared to his other brothers, he never showed excellent fighting qualities. Such Li Zaishuan didn't get his father's approval. So Zaishuan's trust deeply touched his heart. As time goes by, Zai Xian is already familiar with the mage's fighting style. Now he will not be easily defeated by Lu Xing'an. He could even occasionally gain the upper hand in battle. And now it is time to meet the goddess of death. The boy signed a contract with the goddess of death to survive. He needs to defeat the monster in front of him within 90 days. Therefore, Zai Xian found the genius alchemist Li Zaishuan. Ask him to make a pill that can increase magic power for her. During this time, he also continued to engage in practical training with Lu Xing'an. Finally, within the stipulated time, I tied with Lu Xing'an. Even so, Zai Xian still couldn't be sure that he could defeat the Shadow Spectre. He went to see Li Zaishuan again before leaving. Li Zaishuan also lived up to his trust and made the elixir. Zaishuan's magic power increased by 15 points after he took the pill. I told you so. He's really talented. This is all thanks to your trust in me. The next day, as soon as they left, Zaishuan then came to the entrance of the dungeon again. After preparations, Shinsai opened the instance door. Thus, Zai Xian once again entered the instance alone. With the experience from last time, Zai Xian was not panicked at all during this transmission process. He soon arrived at the king's prison. As long as he can defeat the Dark Knight's spirit, he will then be able to know the truth about his rebirth. At this moment, bursts of light came from not far away. It turned out to be a skeleton archer who had already aimed at Zai Xian. Zai Xian is no longer what he used to be. He simultaneously learned the fighting styles of two professions. Generally speaking, This kind of close-range attack is no match for martial arts fight scenes. Lian Chao attacks are no match for magic tricks. Neither of them is particularly good at anything. It's a very ambiguous occupation. But Lu Xing'an believed. If this person is Zai Xian, then it's different. Meanwhile, Xin Sai was waiting outside the instance for Zai Xuan's news. At this moment, he suddenly sensed an unfamiliar aura. Xin Sai immediately grasped the weapon in her hand. You were here all along. I've been looking for you for ages. The one who came was Yan Zhu, Xin Sai's college junior. They haven't been in touch since they graduated from university. And Yan Zhu actually came to the copy here on his own initiative. Is this copy managed by a senior? How strange. Managing copies should not be within Senior Fan Chomei's responsibilities. Actually, I have something I've been curious about for a long time. Rumors about Chairman Lu Xing'an's poor health. Is it true? Of course it's not true. Yan Zhu, where did you hear this rumor? Many people say that. Our agents' union can get quite a lot of information. Xin Sai immediately realized that the Lotus Workers' Union had been infiltrated. Thank you for telling me. Thanks to you, I have something to do when I go back. There is also one more thing. Do you know this child named Ming Zixuan? Recently he always goes in and out of the Lianhua Trade Union. Often meets with Chairman Lu Xing'an. I came here only because the trade union paid me. We have to put on a show. Then I'll go first. Goodbye, senior. After a long period of training, the boy returned to the land of kings. But Zixuan easily dodged his attack. Even in the air, Zai Xian didn't give up the chance to attack. Constantly using the holy bow and arrows consumes Dark Knight Phantom's HP. In this way, the Dark Knight Ghost can only make Zixuan land safely. Seeing Zixuan about to walk up to her, the Dark Knight Ghost immediately attacked Zixuan. But Zixuan easily dodged every one of his attacks. This is panicked. Is it different from what you thought? The voice barely faded when the lightning chain spell flew straight towards Dark Knight Phantom. Being a level 1 skill, his power is far greater than the sacred bow. Moreover, Zixuan can freely control the angle of his attack. Anya Yuhan clearly didn't expect that Zixuan's skill could change direction. Carelessly, he was firmly bound by the lightning chain. Zixuan understood that these injuries alone were not enough to kill him. He immediately released the sacred bow and arrow to make up for the damage. However, Anya Yuhan's HP was also beyond Zixuan's expectations. After suffering so much damage, he entered a berserk state. He saw that her didn't answer him. Zixuan could only seize the opportunity to kill the Dark Knight Ghost. But to his surprise, the Dark Knight Ghost actually began to run away on its own to stall for time. Zixuan can only be controlled by using the medicine first. Just as Zai Xian was using his skill, the Shadow Fiend started to counterattack. Not only did it interrupt Zixuan's skill casting, inflicted the fear anomaly onto Zixuan. Before Zixuan could react, Anya Yuhan immediately rushed over to deplete his health. Fortunately, the blow did not injure Zixuan fatally. But if it keeps dragging on, Zixuan will have no chance of victory. He simply decided to block his vision first. Jian Zixuan rushed over. Anya Yuhan subconsciously wanted to create some distance. But he soon discovered. Zixuan just stood at a distance and released his skill. Do you really think I would rush over and fight you desperately? Before the words left her mouth, a strong light appeared in front of Dark Knight Phantom. The lightning chains hidden within struck him directly. At this very moment, Zixuan finally arrived in front of Anya Yuhan. Anya Yuhan also attempted to summon small monsters to buy time. But unfortunately Zixuan had already activated the trap. Because it recognized the undying figure monster, the trap automatically transforms into light judgment. Zixuan finally defeated the Shadow Ghost with only 3 seconds left. Zixuan also thus obtained the title, the first person to pass the trial. Loki's choice was indeed reasonable. Come, child. I invite you into my temple. The boy successfully defeated the Dark Knight Wraith. Became the first person to pass the trial. He earned the qualification to go to the Temple of Death. Almost instantly, Zixuan was summoned to the temple gate. At that moment, a terrifying aura locked onto him. A monster rushed out of the temple. Just as Zixuan was about to die on the spot. Please invite the guest in, mother. Hearing this, my mother immediately changed direction. He took Zixuan into the Temple of Death. I have come to see you. I can't believe you actually did it. Congratulations. The child chosen by fate to be a rebel. You have passed my test perfectly. Why did you send me the Noon system? You still want to test me like this? What exactly is your purpose? This is all to make you a rebel. Zixuan was curious why it was him. This is the fate you were born with. Resist the lofty Acer. Kill the supreme god Odin. That is Loki. And our expectations of you. Let me get rid of Odin. I don't understand what you're saying. You don't need to understand. I never expected you to understand from the beginning. The reason why you are involved in the dispute of the gods, you probably won't understand either. But you need to remember one thing. This is not just a matter for us as our opponents. The whole world is developing towards China. And Odin wants to dominate the whole world. To stop this, we need your strength. Make yourself strong. Looking forward to the day I see you again. Before Zishuan could say anything. How could I possibly stay here? He is so loyal in everything he does. To get back to the point. How did it feel to see him in person? It is too early to draw a conclusion. After all, he has just taken the first step. I think you seem to be hard on that boy. As a rebel, his growth exceeded my expectations. He solved the difficult problem I gave him. Finally, he came to me. Although I miscalculated, I am still very happy. That's good. I'm relieved that everything is going well for him. Is that all you want to say? You should have more to tell me. Mimir, I don't know what you are talking about. You cunning old fox, do you still want to pretend you don't know anything? The rebel's law of cause and effect is clearly distorted. Do you think I can't notice it? It seems your title of wisdom giant is a thing of the past. And the rebel's left eye, that was clearly the eye of Odin given for the right of wisdom. Aren't you going to explain? Mimir, what exactly are you and Loki up to? Please forgive me, it's still too early to tell you now. Just think of it as fate. Is it fate? Anyway, I'm used to waiting. But I will never stand idly by. According to the prophecy, there are still countless hardships ahead of him. He needs a head. To reach the peak, one must have a head like a cow. Always help guide the right path. At the same time, Zai Xuan was teleported out of the dungeon. Although he didn't get to the bottom of the matter. Are you troubled by something? Zai Xian certainly couldn't tell his secret. I went to the king's encounter. Not only did he not get the truth, but he also had more doubts. Although he obtained a new EX-level skill, but the cost is actually the production of Odin. Zai Xuan thought about it as he strolled with Xiana. Unintentionally, Xiana started chatting with the salesperson. So Xiana helped Zai Xuan choose a magic dagger. Zai Xian did not expect the price of a consumable item to be as high as 300 million. Although Miles Academy provides some materials for freshmen. But the quality of those things is very uniform. Therefore, Lu Xingyan gave Xiana a long shopping list. Looking at the dense text, Zai Xian broke out in a cold sweat. Although Xena stated her goal early in the morning. But Zai Xian thought they would at most buy some cards or single items. So it shouldn't take up too much of her own time. But now this situation has clearly exceeded his expectations. Let's go buy armor now. However, Zai Xuan has already obtained the armor in the realm of kings. This armor is enough for Zai Xian to use at the moment. Moreover, equipping it grants the ability to become invisible. Hearing Zai Xuan muttering beside her, Xiana thought that Zai Xuan needed an invisibility card. This thing is indeed what every hunter wants. But it should be impossible to buy it in this place. I'm just talking to myself. Don't overthink it. There are not many people who learn invisibility skills, are there? If not for the good luck of obtaining it in a dungeon, it is almost impossible to obtain an invisibility card. That's right. Only my brother has the ability to turn invisible in the whole country. Zai Xuan was very curious about who Xiana's brother was. My older brother is Piao Xingcai. Don't you know? Zai Xian never expected this. Xiana is unexpectedly Xingcai's younger sister. Note that their auras are completely different. At this moment, something resonated with Zai Xuan. Light appeared before his eyes again. Zai Xuan quickly ran towards the light. He believed that there must be some kind of treasure waiting for him. The scene changes. On the training ground, a fierce sword strike heads towards the man. The white-haired man in front of him seemed tireless. Every sword Gui wields is extremely aggressive. The practice session is over. The winner is in Haoyan. Although the man's strength is also very strong, the difference in talent between the two is too obvious. People say he is the next S-level trainee. There's a reason for that. 1. You've worked hard. Don't be too proud. You should have won this competition. I understand, father. Get ready for the next routine. We're going shopping after you take a shower. Little did they know that In Haoyan had long been tired of this mechanical life. The hunter he wanted to be wasn't like this. At the same time, Zai Xian discovered that the treasure in front of him was actually Hu Jixing. This treasure pierced through the chest of Balder, son of Odin, possessing endless magic, can grow with users. Zai Xian is very curious. Is this another joke the Norse system is playing on me? He did not notice In Haoyan passing by behind him at this moment. The man is still the most likely to become the next S-rank genius. But he lived a life like a walking corpse. Now In Haoyan is just like a chess piece in his father's hands. But he had no choice but to accept all of this. Do we need to buy so many things? The person who wants to become an S-rank hunter, how can she not give up these little things? But spending this much money, mom's hospitalization expenses this month. Shut up. I have my own way to pay for the hospitalization. You just need to train seriously. Thus, and Haoyan could only stand aside like a puppet. He doesn't understand why he is here. Like monkeys in a zoo, workers serve officials. Do you remember the first time he awakened his ability? Mom smiled and touched his head. From then on, he dreamed of becoming a hunter. But for her father, his dream was merely something to be exploited. Thus, and Haoyan became a machine. Every day, she repeats the instructions input by her father. At this moment, a dungeon crack appeared near the shopping mall, and Haoyan froze in place for a moment. What are you still doing there? Come here quickly. You are a genius who can control the destiny of the country in the future. If I get injured here, it will not be worth it at the Miles Institute's opening ceremony. But think of those ordinary people who can't protect themselves. And Haoyan ran towards the instance immediately. This is his only chance to prove that he is Lai Shisha. He wanted to confirm one thing. Is he still the child that makes mom proud? But at the moment she saw the goblin, and Haoyan stopped. This was his first time getting close to these monsters. But even if it's just some low-level monsters, it makes him tremble all over. And Haoyan could only watch as the goblin charged at him. He is known as a genius in the martial arts, and Haoyan is the most likely to become the next S rank. He was completely terrified in front of the goblin. Zai Xuan arrived just in time at the critical moment, and scared him. The powerful impact sent in Haoyan flying to the side. Are you in Haoyan? Zai Xian couldn't kill so many goblins by himself. It was here that he met the unfortunate genius in Haoyan. And Haoyan was curious who the person in front of him was. They'll talk more later. I need your help now. Wait a minute. There's something behind you. Before she could finish her words, Zai Xuan instantly killed the goblin behind him. Are you still stunned? Cheer up. Take up arms. Hearing this, all of Haoyan's anxieties and hesitations vanished. Has already become the next S-rank hunter in people's minds. But he encountered a goblin for the first time. He was frightened by the monster's appearance. In the end, he only became an ordinary B-rank play hunter. It is unknown what the reason is. You should know this is a more advanced skill than ordinary provocation. At this age, having mastered such a skill is the reason why he is called a genius. Zai Xuan believes. And Haoyan will definitely become a useful enemy platform for himself in the future. Then let's make it quick. So this explains why they killed the goblins? How should I report this to my superiors? I was just about to tell you this. You can just say that the association took care of it. Anyway, no one believes we can kill so many monsters. But doing this is obviously against the rules. It would be against the rules if someone saw it. If you don't want to be too conspicuous, I will do my best to handle this matter properly. Give the bounty for that monster to this guy. Please keep my presence here a secret. Please wait a moment. What do you mean by that? Just now, it was clearly you who killed the monster. Sorry, I also have my secrets. Miles Academy's opening day is almost here. Zai Xuan didn't want to risk being noticed by his father. Only by hiding one's strength first can one have the chance to take revenge at a critical moment. And Haoyan, who was standing nearby, was also caught in a dilemma. Logically, he shouldn't have occupied Zai Xuan's tomb like this. But with this money, maybe it can alleviate his mother's condition. He wants to be a guiltless breath hunter, but also doesn't want his mother to die without treatment. Zai Xuan was also curious about what Haoyan was hesitating about. Think carefully. Every decision you make will bring a different outcome. If you hesitate, someone will surely die because of it. And Haoyan realized that if he lost the most important person, what's the point of his dream then? If I have the chance, I will definitely return this favor to you. From the conversation just now, Park Jin-hoon could tell. Zai Xuan has a love that is unlike that of someone his age. Seeing that you've almost finished discussing, I'll do as you say. Since it has been decided, I will take my leave first. Please tell me your name and contact information. No need to be so formal. You don't have to be so polite. We are all the same age. I am also a freshman at Miles College. We will see each other often from now on. The boy killed hordes of magical beasts. But he chose to give the hefty reward to Haoyan. But it wasn't that Zai Xian didn't like money, because compared to that, a favor from a martial arts genius is worth more. The time quickly arrived for Miles Academy's enrollment day, and Haoyan, known as a martial arts prodigy, it quickly caught the attention of the students nearby. And the other person who attracted their attention was Su Reina. She is the future mission that will top the hunter-killer popularity chart. However, Su Reina's situation was different from the others. Zai Xian couldn't easily win her over, and there is no need to rush it now. Now she has 3 fire warriors whose abilities are far beyond ordinary people. Can't you stop staring at the girl even if she is beautiful? Hearing Jin Yochin's words, Su Reina looked over in Zai Xian's direction. Welcome to Miles College, freshman. I am the president, Chiu Zirin. He should not be able to see it if it is sent now. I knew what the chairman was thinking, so I sent him a message yesterday. Really? Did he reply to you? What did Zhaixuan say? He said you don't need to worry. Meanwhile, Zai Xian and Jin Yuqin had arrived in the subspace. Besides them, there is also another person here. The magical genius who is called S-Class after Liu Xing'an. Su Reina, who changed the world's perception of magic. Scene shifts to Miles Academy's central control room. Qiu Ziren is leading the school teachers to observe the performance of the new students. This group of students includes many talented people. Besides in Haoyan, there are several other potential students. Su Reina Jin Yuqin. Although Li Xiuxian is from the magic department, her scores are all above 90. There is still one student's information that hasn't been updated for a mid-program transfer. People who change their majors halfway through, it goes without saying that they won't last long in our academy. Everyone who can enter Miles Academy has extremely high talent. But among these people there are also geniuses like in Haoyan who have been famous for a long time. We always need to provide opportunities for those who help us get ahead. If they can awaken a second time, then we will profit. Qiu Ziren's mission was to select the most talented geniuses to present to the esteemed one. Especially in front of the magic genius Su Reina. From now on, I will explain the rules of the freshman hunt to everyone. According to the regulations, everyone can only use skills below sea level. Whenever you remove someone else's name tag, you will receive a certain number of points. For safety reasons, we have adjusted the skill power to the lowest level. So you don't have to worry about getting hurt. Please actively participate in the game. Zai Xian realized he did not mention inherent skills. And the limitations of talent weren't specified, so his purpose. Just get rid of some useless guys in advance. And discover talented freshmen as early as possible. We're staying here for 3 days. Let's find a shelter first. There are various traps and facilities in the subspace. The most important thing to survive here for 3 days is to find a shelter. Would it be safer if we teamed up with him? We can't escape. We have to deal with him here. Because of his inherent skill of full speed, he can track his designated target within 300 kilometers. Since the points are already there, I won't be polite. Xin Juanxiang finished speaking and charged straight at the three of them. Unexpectedly, Zai Xian dodged the sword with ease. It has been a long time since anyone has paid their respects to me. I cannot possibly not know a new student who can avoid my attack. Moreover, you are only a new magic student. But in the next second, Xin Juanxiang's sword was firmly grasped in Zai Xian's hand. How can someone as stupid as you still be alive? Luo Zhaixuan crushed Xin Juanxiang's sword with his words. Su Reina was startled by the scene before her. You have 3 seconds. If you hand over your name tag, I'll let you go. Zai Xian, a new magic student. He actually suppressed the Wudong system in close combat. Even crushed Xin Juanxiang's weapon with bare hands. You have 3 seconds to hand over your name tag, and I'll let you go. But at this moment, Xin Juanxiang was scared out of his wits. Zhen Ben Lai Buji Zai Jima Duan Shijian Any Eyes What You Feigning. I've given you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Quan Suyui also did not expect that his companion would be eliminated so quickly. Finally, a freshman has snatched the name tag. Is there something wrong with the system? Why is this person not in Hao? Instructor Xing Lixiu. The system did not show any abnormalities. Are you Zhaixuan? Why haven't I heard of this shuffling technique before? Who are you exactly? I sent you a team invitation. Accept it quickly. Let's take care of the other one together. Jin Yuqing is very strange. Why did Zhaixuan suddenly become so strong? Su Reina, who was standing beside him, didn't say anything and silently took out her weapon. Even without a monster like Zhaixuan, it's impossible for Quan Su LV to win a 1v3. So he immediately decided to eliminate one first, and then take advantage of the chaos to escape from here. Unfortunately, his attack was also dodged by Jin Yuqing. If Jin Yuqing were just an ordinary person. Fortunately, Jin Yuqing used her magic stance to block his attack. Zhaixuan knew that with only Jin Yuqing's friendship, it was still difficult to defeat Zaixiushan. But just as he was about to act, he heard Su Reina chanting the magic spell. Su Reina used his inherent skill, Sword of Alfheim. Almost instantly, Quan Su Shui was defeated by Su Reina's skill. Only then did he understand. The 3 freshmen in front of me are all monsters. Did I disturb you just now? No. You just saved me. Is your sword shadow still effective? After these incidents, Zhaixuan felt it necessary to adjust his assessment of Shi Reina. Perhaps he is not as unbearable as in the news, just credulous and taciturn. The trio immediately went to the nearest shelter after forming a team. There are other people's footprints here. It seems they have entered the shelter. Everyone, stop searching. Gather here. They believe. Those who can eliminate the laughter of the new generation. He will definitely not hide in the shelter all the time. But they didn't know. Zai Xuan and his two companions had already noticed their tracks. As soon as the sudden attack came, it killed one of the laughing people. This behavior. It is undoubtedly an insult to them. This is reverse hunting, then laughter. At this moment, Jin Yiqing activated the sharp pillar and pushed it up. They have already arrived. Mabi Baozi Mogukundi. During the freshman hunting ceremony at Miles College, freshmen became the prey of laughter. But Zai Xian took the new students hunting with laughter again. They already have affection for young children. But Daising's branches and leaves. It can cure his poison. Moreover, they never will. Place the heart of magic in your eyes. Little thing, now you have nowhere to run. You, this stinky bug of a girl, made things so complicated. Is that so? Why do I feel you guys are not even daring to come over? Just now, they were boasting there. Why don't they dare to come over now? Hearing Jin Yiqing mock him like this, Zai Shengmen immediately rushed over. Jin Yiqing immediately triggered it. The numbun mushroom at her feet. After the mushroom explodes, creatures within a 50-meter radius will be paralyzed for 2 hours. It seems it's our turn. Jinghe didn't expect that Jin Yiqing really triggered the numbun mushroom. This behavior benefits none of them. Time for a change. This is not my home turf anymore. The words had just left her mouth. Didn't I say that person couldn't come? Buns and mushrooms that can paralyze everyone for 2 hours. However, it had no effect on Zai Xuan. It's only because Zai Xuan has Her Majesty's protection. Are there only 3 of you left now? The constant pop-up score prompts startled all the instructors. Zai Xuan and their team's score also jumped to the top of the leaderboard. Meanwhile, Jin Yiqing also drank the leaves of the big leaf layer. He has regained consciousness. Now that the trouble has been solved, they prepared to go to Zaixianhui for a drink. Zai Xian seems to know a lot about magic. I have never seen this usage of replacement in any book. That kid transferred to the magic department less than 3 months ago. He learned all the basic theories from me. Was he trying to go to the widow system before? Just a few months ago, he was still obsessed with the widow system. At that time, he still disdained magic. But how did he know that the leaves of the Dayetsin could relieve paralysis? How did he know about this? Not long after, the two arrived at the agreed meeting place. In Surina's eyes, Zai Xian didn't seem silly at all. Her looks are quite high, right in his aesthetic taste. However, Surina quickly suppressed her thoughts. Now, it's still better to be cautious. After taking care of them, several people returned to the shelter. Zai Xuan then started to chop in the pot. What are you doing? Making a potion to restore your strength. I guess it might be useful, so I asked my older brother how to do it. Do you have any brothers you know? Don't you even have any friends? You talk as if you have other friends besides me. Zai Xuan, you are really amazing. It feels like you're not our age. I live with my grandma, so I cook every day. Saying this, Surina tied up her hair and got ready to show off her cooking skills. Surina's family situation. Zai Xian doesn't know much, but she lives with her grandmother. Zai Xian guessed that something might have happened to her parents. Surina quickly cooked dinner for everyone. They were both amazed by the taste after taking a bite. Jin Yiqing was so excited that she hugged Surina. I didn't expect to be able to eat such delicious food here. Surina also felt a long-lost sense of happiness being with the two of them. A hunting game tailor-made for the martial combat department. Zai Xian, despite being from the magic department, led the team to the top of the rankings. This phenomenon shocked all the coaching teachers who were watching the game. We have been expecting an Haoyan, who is currently ranked 4th. What is even more unbelievable is that the current top 2 students are both in the magic department. This achievement has only been seen in the Widow Series champions so far. But now, no one knows how to explain the situation. 3 freshmen from the magic department actually dominated the whole event, even silencing the combat department with laughter. Play the video of the scene at Dankemabi Baozi Magudakan. In that situation, he was not only courageous but also incredibly insightful. He even has the strength to defeat a martial arts type. It's not like magic at all. It's hard to believe he is a freshman. But Ming Zixuan's data has not been updated yet. We have found the information about Ming Zixuan formally. But I don't know if this information is reliable. What do you mean you don't know if this information is credible? Calm down and explain. What happened? You can find out by looking at his profile. Ming Zixuan's magic affinity reached 97%. I can't wait to meet this child. Let's design an interesting game. Meanwhile, Zai Xian and his team have already reached 1.1 million points. He has almost secured the top spot on the freshman list. Because there is no more laughter coming from the Nightmare Forest, Zixuan and the others have no choice but to leave the shelter. Because they want to earn more points, they have to get moving. No way. Then let's start preparing. The highest score in the freshman hunting event ever is 1,140,000 points. We will break the highest record and create new history. Zixian didn't expect Surina to be so competitive. Zixian, are you okay? Mingming, they are all freshmen. Why does he attack us? I didn't expect we would meet again like this. And Haoyan, what are you doing now? But at this moment, and Haoyan seemed not to hear what Zixian was saying. That guy looks unconscious, as if he's being controlled by someone. Zixian immediately thought that this must have been done by Qiu Ziren, because the same thing happened on the anniversary of Miles College. Qiu Ziren, because of his embezzlement being exposed, used his skills to brainwash his students in order to escape legal sanctions. Caused a terrible accident, diverting people's attention. Red disappeared without a trace. That accident made countless students lose trust. Jin Yuqing also fainted in Zixuan's arms that day. As friends, Zixuan definitely wouldn't fight in Haoyan unrestrainedly. So now what needs to be done is to bring him back to consciousness. At this moment, the Norse system suddenly sent a mission. Saving students who have been brainwashed by magic, and the task reward is actually a blank card. Comrades who fought side by side not long ago. Now, he wants to draw his sword against Zixuan. It turns out Haoyan was being controlled. But this also gave Zixuan a chance to get a blank card. In that case, I can't easily admit defeat. There is still time if I try hard at home. In Haoyan, I am Chairman Qiu Ziren. Is there anything I can help you with? I have something I need in Haoyan to help me with. A sharp pain struck his head, and in Haoyan was brainwashed by Qiu Ziren. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? I remembered. I'm going to kill Ming Zixuan. Time went back to the present, and Haoyan sluggishly charged at Zixian. And Haoyan suddenly shot an arrow with all his might. Sadly, Zixian easily dodged his attack with a light jump. Zixuan recognized this as his level 5, tier 5 skill. His sword failed to strike. And Haoyan immediately closed the distance with Zixuan. Zixian was curious why Haoyan suddenly became so strong. After steadying himself, he immediately activated the sharp boost. Now Zixuan's speed has far exceeded Haoyan's. He used his speed advantage to get behind Haoyan, ready to end this pointless fight with lightning chains. Unexpectedly, Haoyan promptly created distance between the two. His eyes were following Zixuan's movements. The body has already reacted. He is truly a genius with an innate, incredibly sharp fighting intuition. Zixian knows that dealing with him may not be as difficult as he thinks. Although absolute calculation can be used to undo brainwashing. But the problem is Qiuzi must be watching this battle in the monitoring room. He might even have a forced smile on his face. However, Zixian's desire to win was also aroused by Haoyan at this moment. And he also wants Qiu Ziren to pay the price. The children who once could only envy those who had a seat in the Widow series. You broke the record. Shouldn't you be happy? Am I right, Reina? If we had another hour, we could break through 1.6 million points. Forget it, anyway, these points are enough for me to squander for a while. Of course. Our integrity points are similar to real-world money. At this moment, a tall figure passed through the students. Hello everyone. I am your instructor Jin Shiji. The two immediately greeted the instructor. I have something to tell the three of you. There are many people here. Should we change to another place? Are you asking about the results of our new student hunt? Jin Shijiwen could only nod silently. Zixuan didn't say anything. He walked past Jin Shiji in silence. Shouldn't you ask me where I am taking you? Chairman's office. I told you so, didn't I? The instructor, along with the three of them, followed Jin Shiji to Qiu Ziren's office. Where is the chairman? Why did he call us over but he's not here himself? Seeing such an arrogant Zixuan, Jin Shiji dared to be angry but dared not speak. You two can sit down and wait. Unlike Zixian, Jin Yiqing and Surina could only obediently listen. Sorry, I have waited for you three students for a long time. I'm late. Hello, I'm Jin Yiqing, a new student in the magic department. I'm Surina. I know two classmates from Jin Yiqing. Surina, you really came late. I was about to fall asleep waiting for you. No. We should be embarrassed. These past 3 days have been spent struggling in a confined space. He came over without even having time to wash up. This is my oversight. After several probes, Zixian realized that Qiu Ziren was trying to show weakness to them. This means he doesn't want to miss out on this talent. I have brought everyone a pretty good proposal, so please forgive me. First, congratulations to the 3 students who ranked in the top 3 in this hunting competition. Especially, classmate Ming Zixian achieved the first place. Not only that, but you also broke through the boundaries with overwhelming dominance. This result is truly unbelievable. This surprised me a lot. What do you want to say? Can't you be more straightforward? Miles Academy. Plan to offer some benefits to the 3 First, you can use the suites in the college dormitory building for free. All three have priority access to all facilities that require reservations. Third, if you are not satisfied with the exam results, you can apply for a retake. He is clearly a student of magic, but fights close range like the martial arts department, and can gain the upper hand in battle. You should know that Zai Xian's opponent is Hao Yan, a martial arts genius. This scene made the instructor unable to believe his eyes because the magic department could not defeat the martial arts department. That was the truth he felt deeply, having chosen the path of magic. But such a thing did happen right before everyone's eyes. At this time, Hao Yan had been beaten to the point of being completely unable to fight back. I didn't intend to be so harsh. But your body is strong, you should be able to stand up soon. Now we should deal with them. Zixuan looked at everyone in the monitoring room. The next second, the surveillance footage turned into a white light. What happened? Why did the screen suddenly become like this? Qiu Ziren snatched the remote control from the instructor's hand. No matter how he pressed it, the screen remained unchanged. It seems he has cast a spell to cut off the image. It's a flashbang. Good job, kid. You want to do this with me, huh? Instructor Jin Shiji, you listen to me. After the event, ask Ming Zixuan to come to my office. Is it really okay for us to make such a quick decision? Instructor Jin Shiji, do you know why he did that after winning? Do you need to use magic to cut off the screen? Because he knew how to increase his utility value. Meanwhile, Zixuan had already arrived in front of Hao Yan. Then she used absolute calculation to undo his brainwashing. Are you awake now? Hao Yan tried to get up, but found his body was in excruciating pain. Finally, she even fell directly to the ground and began convulsing. I'm sorry. You suddenly rushed over and attacked me. Did I attack you? Why would I do such a thing? You are under a mind control spell. Hao Yan then remembered that she seemed to have indeed heard some kind of sound. But this magic definitely exceeds the skill level limit within the subspace. Maybe there was a sudden problem with subspace. Or maybe someone intervened here. Do you know who this person is? Why did he do this? I don't know either. But since they were able to create such a big battle, this explains that this person is not an ordinary person. A big shot that can be easily provoked. He clenched his fists involuntarily. I am so sorry. Since you can still move, I'll go first. Keep working hard for the remaining time. However, Hao Yan threw something to Zixuan at this moment. Zixuan opened his hand and found it was Hao Yan's name tag. Although this thing is only worth tens of thousands. But for Zixuan, it was extraordinary. Because he once so desperately desired the abilities of the martial arts department. Being recognized by a martial arts genius. This sense of accomplishment is unprecedented. Top 3 in the freshman hunting competition. Zixuan and his friends received unprecedented preferential treatment. Not only can you use the suite in the college dormitory for free, also has priority access to all facilities that require reservations. Even if you are not satisfied with the exam results, you can apply for a retake. Besides the benefits I just mentioned, the 3 students can also sign this agreement to become partners of the Miles Academy. These benefits sound pretty good. But with our own ability, we can also get those things within a month. After all, Miles College is a place where strength speaks for itself. I don't understand why we have to pay tuition fees and sign an agreement at the same time. Perhaps you haven't thought it through. I can give you another chance. Ming Zixuan, do you still not want to sign a contract with me? Qiu Ziren did not know that Zixuan had been waiting for him to launch the brainwashing. Due to Here's blessing, Zixuan will not be brainwashed. I've already made myself very clear. I don't want to sign that agreement. If there's nothing else, then we'll leave first. After struggling for 3 days, we were immediately called to the office. We really need to take a good rest. Thus, the 3 of them passed by Coach Jin Shiji again. After hearing these conversations, Jin Shiji was terrified. Only Qiu Ziren and Jin Shiji remained in the office. Instructor Jin Shiji, you go out first too. He is just a freshman. How can he resist my Guyuji? But after listening to what you said, it seems to make a lot of sense. I also doubt that agreement. I think refusing him is the right choice. If we are given preferential treatment from the beginning, it would definitely be unfair to others. Those things should indeed be earned through one's own strength. That's good. Actually, I also hope you can reject that agreement. Don't you find it strange that we refused his proposal? His expression was frighteningly gloomy. I also feel something is wrong. The first event after enrollment had a problem. But the 2 of them did not mention a word about it. Ming Zixuan regarding Director Qiu Ziren. Do you know any inside information? Hearing Su Rina's words, Zixuan stopped. Why would you think that? You were not like a freshman before, calm and composed, but when facing the chairman, you are hostile to him. I'm not so sure, so it's not convenient to say right now. But there's one thing I can tell you. If you can, don't trust anyone. Both the chairman and the instructor. You come to the private academy and provide exclusive benefits for excellent students. Zaishuan not only didn't accept, even publicly humiliated the chairman. If possible, don't trust anyone, whether it's the chairman or the instructor. So that's what you mean. We can't even trust you anymore. Right. You can't trust his words either. He looks so fierce. He even left me alone in the middle of the road before. Jin Yiqing started crying as she spoke. Do you know how painful it was for me at that time? After some playful jostling, Zai Xian pushed Jin Yiqing away. Alright, go back now. Then let's part ways here. Jin Yiqing looked at the two who were standing still in the same spot. Are you filming a teen idol drama here? Do you want to take me with you? The girls' dormitory is on the left. The boys' dormitory is on the right. Go back and rest. Then we'll go back first. Zaishuan, you should also go back and have a good rest. The first class is tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Zaishuan returned to his dormitory. Jin Jian left Malaysia Academy shortly after. This is not something difficult to understand. Being an instructor at Miles Academy is not a lifetime job. This is a fact recognized by most awakened ones. It is also possible that someone like Jin Shiji is fascinated by Chozi, who is in the public eye. The reason is simple. Today I'm going to test your magical powers. A magic similar to the magic cube came from the door behind Jin Jian. Therefore, many students were quite intimidated by this momentum. But Zai Xian had already discovered the difference between the two. The magic concentration behind these doors is much lower than that of the magic cube. The device in front of everyone is called the Feilai Room. It is improved from the mana cube used in general guilds. For those of you who are still students, it is almost impossible to conquer the magic cube. So our Miles Academy has prepared this for you. It consists of multiple small rooms. The magical concentration in the first room is about the same as the air. The deeper it goes, the warmer the magical energy naturally becomes. Generally, freshmen can persevere to the 3rd stage. Graduates can almost persevere until the 7th stage. This lesson is to confirm. How much concentration of Dharma can I bear? Hearing Jin Jian's words, Surina couldn't help but clench her fists. All students, please line up in a single file and follow me. If you experience any unusual situation during the process, please raise your hand immediately. The teaching assistants will take you out. Now let's officially start the test. The first class for freshmen was unexpectedly not about learning theoretical knowledge, but to test how much magical power they can withstand. The magical concentration in the first room is about the same as the air. Students who can enter Miles College do not think it is not. Nearly half of the people have given up by now. After arriving at the 5th room, very few students remained. Do you feel like you can't catch your breath? I'm fine. Seeing Zaishuan could easily cope with the magic concentration in the room, Surina also determined to work harder. After the 6th room, there were only 4 students left. They are all the top performers in the newcomer hunt. Jin Jian sighed inwardly. Qiu Ziren asked him to pay attention to Ming Zai Xian for a reason. However, he had no intention of obediently following Qiu Ziren's orders. We are going to enter the 7th room next. Everyone must always keep in mind, if you feel unwell, you must raise your hand immediately. Note that the 7th room has already reached the graduate level. Next, we will enter the 8th room. Does anyone feel that way? On the other hand, Zaishuan remained calm. Starting from here, the magic density inside the device is the same as in the instance. Everything is changing every moment. Even a genius would struggle to succeed from here. Next we will enter the 9th room. Almost the instant she stepped into the room, Surina's body couldn't take it anymore. Zaishuan, who entered the room afterward, immediately started calling her name. Jin Jian immediately turned around after hearing the sound. Instructor Jin Jian, remember this. No matter what situation the students encounter, you must not lend a helping hand. Crisis is also an opportunity for students. If the opportunity is taken away from them, they should be heartbroken. Rina, are you okay? If you're okay, I can continue. But Surina's eyes were already filled with imitation. Her heart told her she must not lose. This is a world where only the strong survive. What good is having a talent for magic if you still have to be subservient to the martial arts system? If she can't be recognized here, she won't be recognized anywhere. Finally, Surina was carried out on a stretcher by the teaching assistants. Surina left, and Zai Xian entered the 10th room without turning back. Even Jin Jian would find it hard to breathe from here. When she entered, she found that Zai Xian still had a calm and indifferent demeanor. I can't take it anymore. Let's just stop here. Then come out with me, walk this way. Jin Jian knew clearly that what Zai Xian had just said was definitely not true, because she looked even more relaxed than herself. Feilai Room's test can reflect a magician's potential. when most students were still in the third room. Zai Xian can already adapt to the magical density of the 10th room. Ming Zixuan unexpectedly broke through the 10th stage of the magic power room. This means she has reached the level of a Class B attendee, or she has the potential to reach a higher level. Everyone should work hard and strive to catch up with her as soon as possible. Surina really wants to defeat Zai Xian. But the 9th stage was already her limit. Rina, are you alright just now? I'm so sorry to make you worry. They said it's just a common magic poisoning. Are you okay? You seem pretty normal just now. I'm fine. But can you take off the towel hanging around Xian's neck? I was just worried about you. Are you feeling better now? Is there any discomfort? I am fine too. After asking Jin Yuqin, Zai Xian glanced at Surina. She thought Surina was just highly competitive. But having just experienced that incident, she found that Surina was forcing herself. Although she wasn't injured this time, her personality will be difficult to manage in the future. What are you looking at me for? Is it because I'm too beautiful? Are you really okay? You sound really sick. Zai Xuan didn't know how much impact his actions would have on the future. But the current situation is changing rapidly. It is difficult to stay ahead of the curve. Zai Xuan has to prepare in advance. This is the hairstyle I worked so hard on this morning. The person who needs to go to the infirmary is me. Why do I feel like Zai Xian will be more seriously injured? However, a trace of envy flashed through Surei's eyes. They are really good friends. Meanwhile, Li Xiuhe was also watching the two of them fooling around. He doesn't understand. How did Zai Xuan break through the 10th stage of the magic power room? Li Xiuxian, what are you thinking about there all alone? Jin Minju, how much do you know about that guy? Tell me everything. Do you not know who Min Zai Xian is, Xiuheng? Analyzing the strengths of other students is a compulsory course. He is the first student in the magic department to win the freshman hunt. I know all of this. I'm wondering where this kid came from. But Jin Minju didn't know about this. I always feel like there's something off about him. He must be hiding something. Jin Minju still hasn't been able to adapt to Li Xiuhui's changes. Don't you think he went through the back door as soon as school started? If it weren't for back doors, no one could be better than me. Hearing this, Jin Minju felt a pang of awkwardness. Actually, Li Xiuheng had already been rejected by Surena and Jin Yiqin. Don't break in this time. Even if you try your best, you can't do anything to Ming Zixuan. But before he could finish, Li Xiuxian had already left. He is such a middle schooler. This hasn't changed at all since he was a kid. Li Xiuheng, wait for me. Are you going together? As an S-rank hunter, Saint Lu Xing'an. But secretly, he was supporting a young student. These days, Zai Xian has not contacted him, so Lu Xing'an can only take the initiative to contact Zai Xian. You have had a successful start. As your teacher, I am also very proud. That's great. I was worried if I got second. Will you teach me a lesson? Did you encounter any particularly outstanding students during the freshman hunt? Are you trying to poach a group of talents? I do have this idea. If you can provide information, I will give you a corresponding reward. Providing information is not difficult, but you also want me to get paid, which is too messy. Because I know if after a while, even 2 or 10 times this reward won't be enough for me to invite those people to our guild. Then I'll tell you. Surina, who is in the magic department, and Jin Yiqin, and also in Haoyuan from the martial arts department. These 3 are all talents worthy of being recruited by the Lotus Guild. Besides these new students, I know a very good talent among the students. That person is Li Zaixiao. Yes. I think it is very necessary. He will become the world's top alchemist in the near future. How about it? Would you welcome him? With your guarantee, I will certainly welcome you. Then I'll hang up. Okay, see you next time. After chatting with Zixuan, Liu Xing'an's mood improved significantly. Chairman Park Ji-hyun arrived. I understand. Please let him in. Led by Park Hannah, a blonde woman entered the room. After Park Ji-hyun came in, Xian Na immediately waved to Xian Kai and questioned her. Please have a seat. Thank you for your hospitality. So, may I ask why the president of the Planners Guild is looking for me? This goes straight to the point. If you ask like this, our relationship really can't get better. But I don't hate this relationship either. After all, it can avoid wasting time. What exactly do you want? I heard that the Manhwa trade union is currently focusing on cultivating a talent. That child, you might as well make an offer. The most successful businessman in the world, Piao Zhixian. First time visiting the Manhwa trade union. At this remark, the room instantly fell into silence. Excuse me? I never thought of the members of the Lotus Workers Union as tools to make money. Do you think that child thinks the same way? There are many things in the world that money cannot buy. At the same time, Zai Xuan and the others also ushered in the second day of the physical fitness test. Everyone was looking at the upcoming exam results. Zai Xian is very curious. This is how high he can reach. The results of the physical test soon appeared in front of everyone. Seeing such a result, Zai Xian still felt a little disappointed. As expected, I still can't compare to the martial arts genius. Although it's not necessary to be overly aggressive, it's also true that he can't achieve his goal yet. Zai Xian silently glanced at An Haoyan, who was standing aside. Don't focus all your attention on magic. A healthy body is the foundation of revolution. You just wait and see. One day I'll give you a good beating. After this test, Jin Shiji also realized the danger of Zai Xian. Because generally, magic users are absolutely impossible to have this kind of physical fitness. From now on, we will conduct the second physical fitness test. A two-spatial evasion test. This test is designed to identify students' abilities and at the same time let them know their limits. This is the legendary A2 testing space. This is also where our Miles Academy's cutting-edge technology is concentrated. Everyone will take the dodge test here. Simply put, it is to construct surreal virtual enemies. Let students fight with it to improve their practical combat ability. It was originally intended to let everyone solve a virtual monster made up of drones. This is just a physical fitness test, so we will only assess your dodging ability in a simple way. Of course, we will give a higher score if you can defeat the beast. Although Zai Xuan was very dissatisfied with him, what Jin Shiji said was indeed correct. Because a hunter's basic job is to hunt monsters. Unsuccessful hunters are those with insufficient attack power. Mingming is just a weak mage. But it crushed a large number of martial arts scenes, winning second place in the endurance test. The second item to be conducted is the A2 evasion test, Jin Shiji said, handing out things to his students. What is this thing that looks like a headphone? This is a receiver used to assist the combat system. Augmented reality devices. You are right. Ming Zixuan knows a lot. This thing can stimulate the brain, making people feel that the enemies constructed by the projector are real. A2 combat is achieved by using drones to bring the monsters into view. This second system has a total of 100 stages, but today's test only went up to the 10th stage. The test will be done in groups of 4. Students whose names are called will form a group, then test in order. Zai Xian and Li Ziyak were assigned to the third group together. Each group's members are mostly 2 martial arts students. I still can't understand how the magic department students can get first place. I think there must be some special reason for this. If I say there's nothing like that anymore, then I'll just have to go find it myself. Even using force, I will definitely find the truth. You might as well have stated your purpose from the beginning. Just say you want to fight me. You're pretty straightforward. I was just thinking the same thing. The 2 remaining members of the 5 Pecks of Rice faction wore fierce expressions. As members of the same group, they still felt it necessary to ease the relationship between the 2. Next are 3 groups. Group 3 students, please come on stage quickly. After hearing Jin Shiji's words, Zai Xuan immediately went to the A2 device. Although Li Ziyuhek was very unhappy, he still had to prioritize the test. Stage 1 enemies are Higashi soldiers. At the moment Warcraft appeared, Li Xiuxian retreated to the rear of the team. No one expected Zai Xian to charge at the beast motionlessly. 2 members of the martial arts department, strong and healthy, wanted to call Zai Xian back. The Haigu soldier was instantly killed. This is something no one expected. Even Jin Yichin and Surina, who were outside the court, were scared. More Haigu soldiers appeared. Without exception, these demonic beasts were all killed by Zai Xuan with one punch. It turns out this is Zai Xuan's learned active skill, magic weapon. This is a special skill that an ordinary magician can never learn. However, that doesn't mean the skill is rare. It is because this skill can increase the mage's physical damage. So for other mages, this skill is useless. But for Zai Xian, it can greatly enhance his combat effectiveness. Magic users all say he is a madman. Martial arts practitioners even directly exclaimed that this was an impossible task. Just because Zai Xian, a magic user, always charges into battle. He even learned other mages' useless skills that they scoffed at. Because the path he chose was one that countless people had tried. But no one has ever successfully fought a battle mage. Relying on this method, Zai Xuan successfully passed the layer dodge test in the current stage. He even broke the record for the shortest time. It's only 3 tries, so I don't want to repeat it for the 3rd time. If you're really that curious, let me show you what I can do right now. Li Xiuhui was blinded by anger. He instinctively wanted to use magic on Zai Xian. What happened to the 2 of you? Hearing the instructor's scolding, Li Xiuhui immediately calmed down. If expelled for fighting, then it would all be in vain. Seeing that Li Xiuhui had no intention of making a move, Zai Xuan turned and walked away. I also thought you had already won against me. I don't think I lost to you. Miles Academy Festival. We two will have a showdown. No. I will not fight you at the Miles Academy Festival. Li Xiaohui thought that Zai Xian looked down on him. His brow immediately furrowed. I already have a date on the day of Miles College Festival. As the drama subsided, the next day's lessons also ended. And Hao Yin lay in bed, reminiscing about everything that had happened today. He knew the person who had made a pact with Zai Xuan to have a showdown at the Miles Academy Festival. It's just him. He is happy that Zai Xian sees him as a rival. It's not time to rest yet. I need to train harder. He must not be disappointed then. At the same time, Jin Shiji brought today's data. Go find Qiu Ziren. You saw the results of the physical fitness test? I just watched the video. This year's freshmen are really something. The boy is merely the Saintess's kept lover. Ku Zixuan, however, broke the academy's shortest clearance record by himself. After class, he had a perfect run. 27th evasion test. This level is already equivalent to 60 level practitioners. Very few people who know the Saintess know that Zi Xian is actually Lu Xing'an's only direct disciple. Even though Zi Xuan's ability has far surpassed the student level. But he still has to prepare for the next activity. Be prepared, for the upcoming simulated dungeon event is a great humiliation in the history of Miles Academy. It is also a tragic incident that resulted in the deaths of innocent students. In her previous life, Zi Xuan was at the center of this tragedy. In the end, he was the only member of the entire team who was living. Everyone said to him, "You're better off dead." Even if he suffers this kind of abuse, Zi Xuan cannot leave Miles Academy. Because he cannot let those who trust him down. His life became increasingly dark because of this tragedy. He doesn't know if he can live differently this time around. He, who once could not protect anyone, was pointed at by 1,000 people. Whenever he saw these two people, Zi Xuan's tense nerves would have a moment to breathe. What am I going to do tomorrow? This is my first time entering a dungeon. I haven't slept well since yesterday. It's okay. Everyone feels this way the first time they enter a dungeon. What are you talking about? Listening to you, I thought it wasn't your first time in this instance. I bought mine and brought some for you. Don't hesitate to use them when you need them. Zi Xian knew very well that in his previous life, he had been lucky to survive. This time, he will rely on his own strength. Time quickly arrived at the day of the instance event. Zi Xuan started warming up early in the morning. For even a powerful magician will be exhausted if he suddenly uses advanced magic, suffering from the backlash of magic. This way, the user's body will be greatly damaged. Zi Xian's lightning chains and wire techniques. They are all advanced skills. So he started running magic early in the morning to warm up. And in this simulation, it is still unknown what kind of danger will be encountered. Maybe Zi Xuan or his teammates might stay in the simulation copy forever. Zi Xuan suddenly discovered that if he condensed his magic power in his dantian beforehand. But this life's Zi Xuan already possessed strength far surpassing that time. He believes he can protect all his comrades this time. You have traveled back to the time you most wanted to return to. From now on, you will re-experience the turning point you once regretted. Will you make the same choice as you did back then? Or other different choices? Your choice may determine the life and death of others. All endings are between your sides. The Norn system only gave Zi Xuan 2 options and did not display any other information about the task. Zi Xian didn't understand what those words meant either. However, one thing is certain, the Norn system wants Zai Xian to grow up to help them achieve their goals. Ku Jinchuan completely couldn't understand this task and choice. Everyone quickly arrived at the simulation instance. With Zai Xuan's current level, the D-rank boss Beast King is no match for him. But he also didn't want Qiu Ziren's plan to go smoothly. And in this event, Qiu Ziren has revealed his weakness. Perhaps this is an opportunity to deal him a fatal blow. Time is almost up. Now we will randomly form groups. The students whose names are called will step out of line. You can draw lots here. Under Jin Jian's organization, the grouping ended quickly. Zai Xian and Su Rina were fortunate enough to be assigned to the same valley. Great! There's also an acquaintance in the same group. Su Rina nodded her head, blushing, and said nothing. This is indeed good news for Zai Xuan, as Su Rina's strength is guaranteed. Just then, the remaining 2 members of the group came over. At the moment Zhang Xian turned around, he could hardly believe his eyes. Hello? I am Kim Jinya from the Martial Arts Department. I am Pu Xinyu from the Martial Arts Department. We are all members of Group 3. Nice to meet you. And in the previous life, she stood in front of Zai Xuan. It's just Jin Zhenya and Park Xinwu. Until then, Zai Xian understood the task that the Norse system had given him. This is the choice he has to make. The 2 people who saved Zai Xian's life in the previous life. He is now once again a teammate of Zai Xuan. Until then, Zai Xuan understood the force of the Norn system. Looking at the 2 people in front of him, An inexplicable emotion welled up in Zai Xian's heart. Perhaps it was the joy of meeting again, or maybe it was the shame and realization that he had failed to save them both. However, Zai Xuan quickly suppressed this emotion. Nice to meet you. I am Ming Zaishuan from the Magic Department. This is Su Rina from the Magic Department. He kind of knows me. Let me introduce him to you. I'll leave it to you soon. It's okay, we are all teammates. We will get to know each other soon. We get along very well. Just relax. Seeing them like this, Zai Xian also felt a little happy. They are always like this. They are very enthusiastic to everyone. Since everyone knows each other, let's formulate a battle plan. Hearing this, Zai Xian quickly searched for Jin Yiqing in the crowd. After discovering that he was on the same team as Haoyan, Zai Xian also felt relieved. Thus, Zai Xian led the group into the simulated dungeon. Next into the instance was Haoyan's team. They adopted a 1-2-1 formation. Due to the first time entering the instance, everyone is more or less nervous. After all, it's a mining-type dungeon. There should be werewolves here, right? There should be. And there should also be a lot of mineral resources here. Then there should be diamonds here too. If we look carefully, we might find something else. Something is approaching. Everyone, get into your formations. Jin Yiqing almost immediately entered a state of readiness. The remaining two trembled uncontrollably out of fear. Their enemies were a group of ordinary werewolves. In the narrow mine, the four people were still surrounded by monsters. Although there are many of these magical beasts, it's not good if there are too many of them. We must fight a quick battle and achieve a quick decision. Then Haoyan charged out first. Jin Yiqing also didn't hesitate and immediately started chanting a magic spell. A powerful light suddenly burst out in the mine. Werewolves who have been living in darkness for a long time have almost completely lost their vision. And Haoyan, who charged into the horde of, seized the opportunity to reap their lives. But he soon discovered. The remaining two people in the team have been attacked by werewolves. Hymning Underworld Wind. Hear my summon. As Jin Yiqing used the skill Air Explosion, the werewolves that attacked their teammates were all killed. After dealing with the Warcraft, and Haoyan immediately began inquiring about his teammates' physical condition. They discovered the Widow family's preference, kneeling on the ground all the time. Can't they? There is terrifying magic around us now. And Haoyan also couldn't understand why the Beast King would appear here. An ordinary mock copy test. Among them unexpectedly hides a boss-level monster. Zai Xian already knew this information, but he couldn't tell her about these things. However, because of Zai Xian's strong strength, they didn't encounter any trouble along the way. I didn't expect you to be so great, Zai Xian. You defeated several monsters alone. It's nothing. It's easy to solve. Just as everyone was chatting excitedly, Su Rina remained silent. Zai Xian also noticed Su Rina's condition, so he silently walked to Su Rina's side. You are still not used to being with them. Su Rina nodded silently. Zai Xian didn't expect Su Rina to be so shy. However, in her past life, there were rumors that Su Rina never spoke more than 3 sentences at a time. At this moment, Piao Xingyu, who was walking in front, suddenly stopped. So they had reached an empty room. Zai Xuan's previous life had no such thing. He immediately understood that this must be Qiu Ziren's doing. But the next second he felt a powerful magic. The source of this magical power is the Beast King who dragged him into the center of the tragedy. Something is coming towards us. Execute plan C using a defensive then counteroffensive tactic. He is different from our previous opponents. Everyone be careful. Su Rina's first reaction was also to step back. But he remembered what Zai Xuan had reminded him. If the martial arts scene at the front falters, then the whole team is done for. So he added a magic barrier to the two of them without saying anything. The magic barrier appeared the moment Piao Xingyu quickly reversed. He immediately used his constellation skill to attract nearby monsters. Seeing that everyone had calmed down, Zai Xian immediately charged towards the Beast King. In a blink of an eye, he was in front of the Beast King. Zai Xian unhesitatingly used magical armament. There was a loud boom, and the courtyard was instantly filled with smoke. Although Zai Xuan had considered the possibility of new variables before he came, but he didn't expect. He actually encountered the Beast King who could regenerate. Just this ability. The difficulty of conquering the Beast King will be greatly increased. Just then, the Nun's system detected that the person behind the King of Beasts was Odin's Raven. He immediately gave Zai Xuan the task of the Crow Hunter. Please eliminate all of Odin's crows that are suppressing you and the Ace of Gods. Every time Zai Xian defeats a crow, he gets a blank card. When all the crows are defeated, Zai Xian's rank will be promoted. Always used to hide behind teammates. A boy who only escapes when facing problems. Now he actively steps up to protect his teammates. Leave here quickly. I will help you stall for time. Zai Xuan, be careful behind you. Key moment. A magical barrier blocked the attack of the Orc King. Zai Xuan subconsciously looked behind him. I can still fight. I will stay and help you. Su Ruinai's eyes told Zai Xuan that he couldn't convince her. Perhaps this is a variable that Zai Xian brings. We will bring the instructor as soon as possible. You must persevere. In this way, Tiao Xinghe and Jin Jinya left their parents. Zai Xuan and Shi Ruinai stayed behind. They need to stall for as much time as possible, or defeat the Beast King who possesses the ability to heal himself. Rina, I'll cover you from behind. Just use your skills confidently. Holy Sword, help me destroy the evil in the world. Almost instantly, all the werewolves were killed by Su Ruinai. This means his physical body can only withstand a limited amount of magic, and the crow hiding behind him must be forcibly giving him more magic power than he can handle. Zai Xuan didn't hesitate. Immediately equipped Hu Jixing. Hu Jixing can expand Zai Xian's field of vision and also provide an active skill, magic perception. During the use of magic perception, Zai Xuan can perceive more clearly all existences that utilize magic power and the flow direction of the energy used. Magic threads appeared on the body of the Beast King in front of Zai Xian, and the ends of those silk threads. Then it was controlled by the hand of a crow. I finally found you, you sneaky little rat. Under the raven's control, the Beast King raised his wooden hammer again. This farce should end. Let me properly see you off. Fu Jing, please check whether the foretold rebel and the one who opposes the Acer have made contact. I am at your service, Odin. Fu Jing's appearance was clearly Zai Xuan's father. Minchineo, at the same time, in Qiu Ziren's office. So, how is the situation over there now? Jin Jian, as you instructed, is still outside and has not gone to his parents. No one has realized anything is wrong yet. That's good. It's a good thing I borrowed that person's power in advance. Everything I do is for Odin and the Acer. The test instance should only have low-level monsters. Inside, however, suddenly appeared the D-class boss, Beast King. Everyone was just standing in front of him. Will be due to its overflowing magic. Mana poisoning occurs. However, Jin Jian, the instructor, was completely unaware of this matter. He is still watching Zai Xian's previous battle recordings. Even as a level 1 hunter, he couldn't fight like Zai Xian. So he thinks this time, the mock copy, Zai Xian and his team most likely took first place. But just then, a door to a simulated copy suddenly opened. He didn't expect Zai Xuan to finish the test so quickly. But when he saw clearly who it was, he couldn't help but widen his eyes even more. Instructor Jin Jian, something bad happened. Something terrible happened. What's wrong? What happened inside? Instructor, the Beast King has appeared in our instance. You said the Beast King? How is that possible? Fortunately, his addiction isn't too serious. It's just a mild case of magical poisoning. Jin Jian was very confused about what went wrong with the test this time. Instructor, haven't the members of the third group come out yet? And Zai Xuan and the others haven't come out yet. And Hao Yen was confused why this was happening. Given their strength, Zai Xuan and Rui Na should have come out long ago. Jin Jian had no choice but to call Qiu Ziren. Mayorly, I am Instructor Jin Jian. Instructor Jin Jian, what can I do for you? Jin Jian has encountered a B-level magical beast in the simulated dungeon. Please dispatch reinforcements as soon as possible. It turned out that something like this happened. You don't have to worry too much about me. That's when they dispatched a support team. Before the support team arrives, please stay put. Although Qiu Ziren told him not to worry. But the Beast King was completely unharmed due to his self-healing ability. Prompted by the nun system, Zai Xuan knew that things were not so simple. Odin has 2 ravens. A cat named Fujing represents emotions and thoughts. A being named Wuni represents memory. He observes the world through these 2 ravens. Rules over Asgard. Is this all you're doing, followers of Odin? The Beast King's magic power in front of me has already exceeded B rank, and also has the ability to regenerate. Even Zai Xuan would find it difficult to defeat such an opponent. For Zai Xuan, escaping might be the best option. After all, running away before crossing over was commonplace. But he lived in regret every day back then. How could you possibly do it alone? Before he could finish his sentence, Zai Xian killed the werewolf behind the heart girl. This is no longer a test. Now it's a matter of life and death. Let's get to the point. He appeared in front of Zai Xuan. It's true that Zai Xuan's strength has already surpassed the past. But the king of the beasts also gained the ability to heal himself. At the critical moment, Zai Xian discovered his body was slowly melting. With the help of Hu Jixing, Zai Xuan finally found the mastermind behind all this. This farce should end. Let me give you a proper send-off. With Hu Jixing's help, Zai Xuan can summon more lightning chains. Almost instantly, the lightning chain reached the Beast King. But the Beast King is ultimately a boss-level monster. Moreover, he also gained power from Odin's ravens. Failing to strike, Zai Xian quickly pulled away from him. Rina, can you cover me? Can you make his attack miss? I'll try, but Surina's condition is also very bad. They both know one thing. Even if Szechuan defeats the Beast King, Surina is still very likely to die from magic reflection. So Szechuan couldn't understand why Surina would help him even so. Zai Xian finally has the chance to start over. He had already made up his mind not to trust anyone anymore. Because for the weak, this world no longer has a place for them. But in my previous life, a martial arts uncle told me, among all the causes of death, none is more tragic than dying from mutual distrust. And now, Szechuan only has one chance. Szechuan absolutely refused to allow himself any mistakes. The lightning chains on the tree once again rushed towards the Beast King. Only in this way can Surina have a chance to survive. And he also wanted to prove that the uncle was right. Surina didn't expect Zai Xian to use the lightning chain as a mobility skill. Without extremely powerful magic control abilities, this is absolutely impossible to do. Just as Szechuan was about to collide with the Beast King, Szechuan suddenly manipulated the lightning chain to arrive above the Beast King. The Beast King immediately gathered his strength to deliver a fatal blow to Zai Xian. If Szechuan is hit, Surina's magic barrier will definitely break instantly. Just as Szechuan was about to be hit by the hammer, he used the lightning chain to throw himself into the air. Szechuan recalled the basic swordsmanship he had practiced countless times in his previous life. Swing the sword in your hand vertically upwards from the bottom left. A lingering nightmare from my once dark life. Szechuan hoped to use his past life skills to get to know him. This time, I will never let you regenerate easily. Originally, Zai Xian was targeting the magic thread between the Beast King and the crow. After severing these threads, Zai Xian struck a fierce blow with his sword towards the Beast King. The furious strikes filled the air, causing Zai Xian's sword to break. Fortunately, all of this has ended. He wants to use his former skills to settle the score with him. Okay. Now everything is over. Then let me have a good look at your ugly face. Luo Szechuan immediately used the lightning chain to break through the nearby eye pin. Behind the eyeliner, there is a cave hidden. He is hiding inside. It is the crow who controls the Beast King. Szechuan didn't say a word and stepped on it. Tell me, what exactly is Odin's purpose? But the crow remained silent. However, Zai Xian noticed the necklace around his neck at that moment. So he gave the crow another hard kick. What is the relationship between Chioziren and Odin? Seeing the crow, which did not answer, Zai Xian knew that it was pointless to waste any more time. So he ended the crow's life with one kick. The only thing to be careful about now is the magic rebound. Szechuan, have you finished there? Zai Xian suddenly felt a chill spread through his body. The battle is not over yet. Be careful of the magic reflection. The words were reflected back by the magic power as both Luo and the other person almost simultaneously received it. However, the chaotic magic that entered Szechuan's body was purified by the pure magic within him. This has a lot to do with the fact that he warmed up with magic early in the morning. Not only that, Zai Xian's magic power that he can control in the atmosphere has also been permanently increased by 5%. At this time, the Nun system also sent a mission reward to Zai Xian. After defeating a crow, he gained 5 talent points and a blank card. His level also increased by 1. Due to an upgrade, Szechuan's body recovered quickly. But the Norn system prompted him that a teammate was in danger. If the teammate does not receive timely treatment, he will die. Surina finally opened her eyes soon after. But now his strength and magic have all recovered. I seem to be fine without you. I'm also fine. Just dozed off a bit inside. Then Surina glanced around. Isn't the Beast King already defeated? Why haven't you gone out? I'm waiting for you to wake up. Because I have something to tell you. Do you have anything you want to say to me? What do you want to say? I think we should try it, and then have a deep discussion here. Hearing these words, Shirue Na's face flushed red immediately. The screen switched to the outside of the dungeon. Jin Yuqing was scolding. Tiao Xian, the girl who ran away on her own, and Jin Zhenya. Jin Yuqing, please calm down. I understand your concern for your classmate. Are you still waiting for your childhood sweetheart to come out? And she rebuked her teammate. If Jin Jian hadn't stopped him, Jin Yuqing couldn't wait to go in and find Zai Xian. But she didn't know. Zai Xian is currently having a deep conversation with Surina in the dungeon. Friendship, calm down. Look at the entrance to the dungeon. They have returned alive. You guys aren't fighting because of us, are you? The discipline inspection team clearly stated that both of them were already dead. Moreover, the magic inside the copy dissipates. Their opponent is at least a B-rank Bao Bao. Seeing the two of them return, Jin Yuqing also cried as she rushed towards the two of them. It's good that you are all right. It's good that you are all right. Okay, let us go first. Diao Xingyu and Jing Zhenyao were hesitant, wondering if they should step forward to show concern. Adjusting the mind, Kim Jinya. Thank you for believing in me. They came out earlier at my request. It was I who asked them to go out first and seek help from the instructor. So they should not be loved by everyone. Even if you say so, they can't leave their teammates behind. If it were me, I would do the same. So don't blame them anymore. 3 minutes ago, Surina thought that what Zai Xian meant by deep exchange was that. However, Zai Xuan just wanted to open up to him and ask him to keep everything that happened today confidential. Why do you hide your ability? Aren't you curious? Why would the Beast King appear in the dungeon? Why do students put themselves in danger? Qiu Ziren, that chairman, is such a scumbag. He always treats students like tools. His true face is completely different from what you see in the media. He would not feel any loss even if a student he considered useless died. So you want to restrain Director Qiu Ziren. For this reason, you have deliberately hidden your strength. After getting these answers, Surina's mind was suddenly opened up. The day you left the chairman's office, you told me not to trust Qiu Ziren and the instructor. I want to know about the chairman, Qiu Ziren. How much do you actually know? You seemed to know from the start that he was a bad guy. And your reaction made me feel like you already knew what was going to happen. How did you know these things? Since you want to have a deep conversation with me, then answer my question. Zai Xuan knows very well that if he brings Shirui into this, he will definitely be in mortal danger. Moreover, his magic adaptability is very high. Zai Xian's brainwashing will not affect him. Apologized to Zai Xuan. Zai Xian also knew that as an instructor, he had to maintain order outside. It's okay, it doesn't matter. You didn't intentionally put us in danger. I have to go. I'm really tired today. Jinshiji Jiaguan, this time you really disappointed me. I'm sorry, Mayor Li. This time, it's my negligence. As my most loyal subordinate, I can forgive you once, but I will never keep useless people around me. You understand what I mean? Next time, I will absolutely not let you down again. Jinshiji Jiaguan, Nize Haoning Shuo Dao's Wadao. The next activity will definitely tame Ming Zai Xian, this wild horse. Don't exhaust my patience. Otherwise you know the consequences. The scene shifts to Zai Xuan's suite. At this time, he was so happy that he relaxed. Looking at the combat uniform he wore today, Zai Xian couldn't help but fall into deep thought. The world before the journey, love is dead. Therefore, Zai Xuan decided to be more cautious the next time he interacted with him. After all, Zai Xuan didn't know what changes it would bring to his future. But now, more importantly, is finding the connection between Qiu Ziren and Eisaku. After all, this dungeon incident is just the beginning. More dangerous situations will certainly arise in the future. He always annoyed me when we were together. Hearing this, Surina was clearly a little unhappy. Did that stinky boy really bully you in the dungeon? No. It's just that Zai Xuan seems to trust you a lot, Surina thought. If Zai Xian could rely on me a little more, it would be great. If I could be a little stronger then. Seeing Surina like this, Jin Yiqing felt very uncomfortable. Let's go eat something delicious. Don't bring that stinky boy Zai Xuan. Surina was a little hesitant at first. But Jin Yiqing did this only to make me happy. He finally opened his heart to Jin Yiqing. According to reports, there exists a special copy called the theme copy. People entering the instance cannot exit at any time, and will become characters within the instance. Only by meeting specific conditions can you conquer the instance. But this is the kind of theme instance whose difficulty far surpasses ordinary instances. The speed-enhancing acupoint once used by Thor's servant. Due to its ability to significantly increase agility, it became the coveted item for all martial arts practitioners at the time. Zai Xian happened to allocate all his talent to magic and endurance. With him, she could keep all her abilities balanced. However, before this, Zai Xuan needs to organize the rewards for this mission first. Eden's golden apple is a mythical consumable item. Using it can not only slow down the aging process and enhance self-healing ability, also increases stamina and mana by 20 points. These effects are enough for him to sell it at a good price. It is a pity that it is an exclusive item and cannot be traded. Fortunately, those effects were a real enhancement for Zai Xian. Taking advantage of his attribute upgrade, Zai Xuan decided to challenge the themed dungeon. So he dialed Lu Xingwen's phone. Soon after, Zai Xuan then came to the amusement park where the themed dungeons appear. Recalling the world before I transmigrated, the facilities here are indeed somewhat boring. Hello sir, what kind of ticket do you need? Zai Xian silently handed a card to the ticket window. I am Ming Zai Xian, the hunter of the Lotus Guild. In a little while, the theme instance will appear here soon. At the same time, someone came downstairs to Zai Xuan's dormitory. You said that Zai Xuan had already left. Yes, he came over to my place last night and opened the going out notice. Jin Jian didn't expect Zai Xian to recover so quickly after what happened. Note that he is just a freshman. Not only is her strength outstanding, but the speed at which she overcomes psychological shadows is also very fast. The boy just said one sentence to the ticket seller. The bustling amusement park was instantly deserted. The broadcast is still playing the emergency evacuation notice. Zai Xuan contacted Liu Xing'an for convenience. But he also didn't expect the Lianhua Trade Union's name to be so good. However, Zai Xian could not use the name of the Lotus Guild without any reservations. For example, this time Liu Xing'an made a condition to Zai Xian. If anything dangerous happens, you must always put your safety first. I don't doubt your ability. But which teacher would want their student to be in danger? His inherent skill is four-dimensional acceleration. With this skill, Su Yashuan swaggers everywhere every day. He ultimately died in a power struggle caused by envy. Because of this, Taif's thunderous steps eventually fell into the hands of others. So instead of letting this equipment fall into the hands of others, it is better to get it first. With the prompts from the previous life, Zai Xuan quickly found the first mission location. The first task is the pirate ship. Zai Xian needs to change the ending of the story. As a flash of light passed, Zai Xian was transported into the instance. Just as he left, a figure appeared at the door of the pirate ship. Zai Xuan's first mission is the hatred of Taifai. He will transform into the warrior, Taifai, who survived the Viking invasion. Because Thor admired Taifai's speed, he wanted to recruit Taifai as his subordinate. Thor then ordered his men to kidnap Taifai's sister, Luo Sekunwa, as a hostage. To pass this level, Zai Xian needs to ensure that both of them survive. Rescue Luo Sekunwa. Taifai was originally a mortal. Because his entire family was killed by Vikings, he intensely hated the Norse gods worshipped by the Vikings. But this information was exactly the opposite of the stories Zai Xian had read since childhood. He was very curious. Is this also the difference between the Asa system and the Norns system? Taifai, wake up! Zai Xian, having just crossed over into this world, was still a little unaccustomed. Dan Zaishuan's memory told him they had now seized the Vikings' ship and were preparing to rescue Rose Kunwa. And the person in front of him, the mastermind of the boat-jacking operation, Phi Taik. At this moment, the two boats suddenly crashed into each other. At this time, the only people who could still stand firm on the deck were Zai Xian and Phi Taik. They had long been surrounded by Viking ships. Countless Vikings jumped onto their decks. Although I don't know what the situation is now. However, Zai Xian could only put off finding Luo Sekunwa. You quickly hide, leave this to me. Wait a minute, Taif. You can't do it alone. Before he could finish his sentence, Zai Xuan jumped onto the enemy's ship. And he saw an unexpected person here. The person who plays Roskunwa. It was Su Yashuan. To obtain Taifai's thundersteps, Zai Xuan used the name of the Lianhua Guild to clear out the entire amusement park. But he didn't expect that in the first level of the theme copy. He then met Su Yashuan, who had cleared this dungeon in the previous life. He couldn't understand why this happened. Moreover, Su Yashuan plays a role in the... It was Roskunwa. Zai Xian did not know. Su Yashuan's appearance here was completely unexpected. In the 3 minutes before the broadcast evacuation, Su Yashuan happened to enter the restroom. When he came out, he found that the amusement park had become a themed instance. Even more tragic is, everyone except him left early. So Su Yashuan could only hope that the strategy group would arrive soon. However, before that, he still hoped to find other unlucky people who, like him, had not gone out. At that moment, he noticed Zai Xian, who was preparing to raid the dungeon. So Su Yashuan followed Zai Xian all the way, until entering the first level of the main quest. Zai Xian now also has a big headache. If someone else is involved, it's still manageable. It's Su Yashuan, the previous world's clearer, who can enter the dungeon. You fool, instead of hiding, you dare board the enemy ship. Let that foolish boy taste the power of the bow and arrow. For a time, only the screams of the enemies could be heard on the deck. Zai Xuan is very confused now. But on the bright side, perhaps bringing Su Yashuan, this cunning fellow, will actually make it easier for me to clear the stage. Since things have reached this point, Zai Xian decided to take him along and make the most of him. Just then, a bald man with a muscular build rushed over. Unfortunately, Zai Xuan dodged his attack by simply leaning to the side. He then punched the big man in the face. Zai Xian now needs to do is quickly deal with these people. Then Su Yashuan was rescued. Enter the next level. I don't have that much time to spend with you now. Stop dawdling. Come at me together. In the blink of an eye. Zai Xuan then eliminated all his enemies. Stop pretending to be asleep. Get up. You are Roskomnava. You found me, Then you must be Tierfei, right? That's right. But on second thought, Zai Xuan slammed his fist against the railing. I know what you're up to. You're trying to play smart and test my limits. Su Yashuan was so scared that he couldn't say a word and could only nod obediently. After rescuing Su Yashuan, the two returned to their starting point. Zai Xuan sat in front of Su Yashuan and stared at him. Seeing Zai Xian not speaking, Su Yashuan also only dared to sit quietly. In his eyes, the girl followed the man into the dungeon to survive. Thought I could successfully hug a thigh. But his temper was unusually strange. He thought he could deceive him with his intelligence. He couldn't believe that the man in front of him knew about his skills. Almost instantly, Su Yashuan's last psychological defense was shattered. Instantly slows down the user's time. This accelerates the user's thinking during this period. You're right about the effect of your skill, aren't you? Su Yashuan really couldn't understand. Why could Zai Xian know the effect of his skills? It seems I can't take you with me. You probably want to use me to break this dungeon, right? There should be a limit to how much you look down upon people. After Zai Xian finished speaking, he turned around and left. I was wrong. You are right, big brother. Please don't leave me alone. How do you want me to believe you? I'm willing to do anything you ask now. Really? Then let's sign the contract. Hearing this, Su Yashuan completely panicked. He didn't expect Zai Xian to have such a skill. After signing the contract, Su Yashuan cannot do anything to harm Zai Xian and must obey his orders until the game is cleared. Moreover, the content of the contract must be kept confidential until the game is cleared. Zai Xuan will protect his safety. It turned out that this was a subordinate program of brainwashing that Zai Xian copied from Qiu Ziren. By signing a contract, one can gain some control. For Zai Xuan, to tame Shi Yashuan is the most effective way. Su Yashuan could only sign the contract since things had come to this. My offer is not bad, right? I didn't take away your thoughts. Of course, if you want to stay here, you can cancel the contract at any time. I will try my best. Please don't leave me alone. Meanwhile, inside her shrine, it seems that the little rebel is working hard. Those greedy Acer gods' gazes became increasingly sharp. If I leave, they will definitely come and make trouble. What can I do? Hearing these words, Here just chuckled. Did not answer. Here be my eyes. Help me follow the growth of the rebels. We must buy some more time. Let the rebels fully grow up. Su Yashuan's facial expression had already betrayed him. Wait a minute. Walking over here is too tiring. I need to rest for a bit. Unfortunately, they were teleported to the second level the next second. They need to do it without violating the 3 regulations. Leave this mansion. What role do you play this time? I seem to be a photographer. Brother, how about you? I seem to be a horror house exploration streamer. No guests have come here for a long time. Dear guests, hello. My name is Alfred. He is the butler who serves Count Flandio, the master of this mansion. Today, I am here to receive you two, by order of the Count. Stage 2 of the theme dungeon. It was a gloomy and terrifying mansion. Let me take you two to the restaurant. Zai Xuan noticed a vase as soon as he entered. It says, dedicated to the most beautiful and foolish girl. Seeing that he couldn't get any information, Zai Xian started looking around. That's natural. He retained many childhood memories. It was a memory of great happiness, like a dream. Seeing the housekeeper's appearance, the two felt a chill for a while. This way, please. Please don't touch anything here. Then the butler continued to lead the two. Zai Xian knew he had to cheer up now. The previous mission hinted at the cause and effect of the event. But now it's different. All the events and secrets here require Zai Xuan to explore personally. Are you okay? You just said you weren't afraid of ghosts. It was all a lie. I'm just not used to it yet. Give me some time to adjust. At that moment, the butler who was walking in front suddenly stopped. This is it. This is the dinner prepared by Count Flandio for you. Please enjoy your meal. I will come back when everyone is finished. The butler closed the door and left. The two knew clearly. This meal definitely could not be eaten. Let's hurry and go somewhere else while the housekeeper is away. Wait a minute. Before that, we need to get the information here. Then Su Yashuan activated his skill, thinking acceleration. Almost instantly, his eyes scanned the information of all the objects in the room. Then, he would pass this information to his brain for analysis. I already know something about this mansion. Zai Xian was surprised but pretended to be calm. Then tell me about it. The owner of this mansion should be a child. Petite figure. The chairs in the reception room are the clues. The chair on which the host sits is higher than the other chairs. This means the height of Chaidi's owner is taller than others. The cabinets in the living room are all very low. Speaking of which, this camera is quite expensive. If only I could take it out. Aren't you going out? What are you doing standing there? Now is not the time for idle chatter. We are locked in here. The girl is a super genius with an IQ of 150. She just needs to take one look at the room. It is possible to infer the characteristics of the house owner. Zai Xuan still thought he could easily pass with Su Yashuan's intelligence. But I didn't expect that. They were actually locked in the restaurant. Just you wait. When the time comes, the people will definitely propose lowering our ratings. Even if you were recently promoted because of the goblin incident, you're likely to be demoted this time. It seems like we're going to be taking the blame again. Now let's confirm the information of the two people who were involved. Diao Jixuan was stunned when he saw the message. It's because the hunter from the Lotus Guild who entered the dungeon was Ming Zaixian. Diao Jixuan heard that Zaixian had gone to Miles Academy for further study. But he didn't expect Zai Xuan to join the Manhwa Workers' Union so quickly. What happened? Could it be that there are not two people involved? Is it three people? It's not like that. Maybe this time the theme copy can be cleared successfully. Although they had only met once, Zai Xian's formidable strength. This has already left a deep impression on Diao Jinhan. Meanwhile, in the subject copy, Su Yashuan's heart sank when she learned she was being locked up. If we are locked up here for the rest of our lives and can't get out. Calm down. This is a dungeon. There must be a way out. There are no parents in the world who can't be escaped. Right, then I'll go over there and see what's going on. Zai Xuan could feel that his master was not very friendly to them. Although Zai Xuan could use force to open this door. But in the previous life, Su Yashuan could clear the game alone. This level's requirement for strength is not high. So there must be some information hidden here. Brother, come and look at this. This camera seems a little strange. If you keep on making a fuss. When Zai Xuan saw the camera, he froze. The footage in the camera was filled with blood. The housekeeper who just led us the way is fake. At this time, the system sent a notification. The first mystery of Shadi, Alfred's secret, has reached 70%. This shows that Zai Xuan and his team have started to get on the right track. It seems this camera can capture things our naked eyes can't see. That's why I deliberately added the role of a photographer. This camera is the key to solving the mystery. Zai Xian was curious how the timid Su Yashuan passed the level. Now it seems he is still calm when he thinks. And these objects are real. This means the camera captured the past of this house. Su Yashuan has always accompanied Zai Xian in deciphering the second level. Unexpectedly regarded Zhao Qing as the culprit of this copy. Living ghost. Because all the secrets of the house have already been uncovered. Zai Xian now needs to escape safely. Countless tentacles from the living ghost Hurin Yiling lashed out towards Zai Xuanqi. Unexpectedly, Zai Xuan blocked all the attacks. Because Zai Xian had recognized his identity early on, he was already prepared. You finally dare to show your true face. I'm still wondering how long you're going to be disgusting. After all, my patience is about to reach its limit. Humans reacted quite quickly. It's actually not that difficult. It's just that I'm relatively smart. Oh no. Maybe it's because you're too stupid. You, this detestable human being. I must kill you here today. But now Zai Xian has unlocked the skill restrictions. This desire to fool others. How does it feel to be fooled? The next second, several lightning chains attacked the living ghost again. So envious. I'm so envious. Human, I also want a human life. As the dust gradually settles, the living ghost was also killed by Zai Xian. You're quite a chatterbox. Looking at this, don't you think you have the potential to be a dog? But considering you brought the key, this time it's okay. Zai Xuan was preparing to leave. Looking back once again, a little girl with golden hair appeared in the center of the hall. Frandio was there, waving goodbye to them. I have done what I promised you. Goodbye. A flash of light streaked by. Zai Xuan and the others then withdrew from this level. Su Yashuan, who had just been turned into a dog, was clearly unhappy. Zai Xian was checking the two skills he had just acquired. The commander's seaworthiness is used to assist teammates. Zai Xian generally does not need it. However, the illusion skill is quite good. You knew that the puppy was mine all along. Why didn't you remind me earlier? I thought I was really going to be late this time. It's fine as long as I'm alive. But I still feel very wrong. Now is not the time for nonsense. We should go to the next mission location. Let's go. We have already completed 2 tasks in a row. Let's take a break before we go. Are you tired? You haven't exerted yourself much since the underground prison, have you? If you mean mental fatigue, just get your body moving and your mind will not be tired. Okay, let's go, my subordinate. It didn't take long for the two of them to reach the final mission location. Could this be a parade of floats? To film it with a camera. It turned into Alfred's corpse. For a moment, Su Yashuan was almost frightened to tears. So these foods on the table. At least not for us to enjoy. Zai Xian suddenly thought of something. To verify his guess, he threw the camera to Su Yashuan. Since a while ago, Zai Xian has been able to feel a faint magic. Therefore, he guessed that everything here was an illusion, a magic trick occasionally used to set traps in the copy. Zai Xuan then decided to use absolute eye calculation to break the magic here. But surprisingly, absolute eye calculation seemed to be disturbed and did not activate successfully. Zai Xian guessed it might be because of the theme instance. At this moment, he noticed Su Yashuan lying on the ground, seemingly searching for something. Su Yashuan guessed that the mechanism for opening the door might be hidden. Before us is food, and what the camera captures is Alfred. This is the only difference, judging from the current situation. The clue to escape must be here. Hearing Su Yashuan's analysis, Zai Xian immediately had an idea. He immediately activated another skill, magic perception. Indeed, I felt the magic wave on the pudding. Fundamentally, closed magic needs to rely on other things or damage luck. To break this magic, just get rid of the items he is attached to, or rather, that should do it. The key to leave this place is inside that pudding. Su Yashuan fell silent at the mention of that position. It was Alfred's head. Are you scared now? I didn't. I went to save the world. Saying this, Su Yashuan rolled up her sleeves and reached for the pudding. After some fumbling, she finally found the key. Su Yashuan observed the surrounding environment through the camera all the way. The scenes appearing on camera are all a mess without exception. But at this moment Zai Xian, who was walking in front, stopped. This seems to be a guest room. Since it's for the guests. The next step after dinner should be going to the guest room. And the blood trail also points right here. There should be no other choice. Then let's go to our respective rooms and look for clues. Are you sure you want to go in? We have to pass the customs. Do you want to be stuck in here forever? Shut your mouth and search the guest room thoroughly. If anything happens, call me immediately. Thus, the two of them entered their own rooms. Besides being exceptionally gloomy, there seemed to be nothing unusual in the room. It seems I have to look for other clues. Zai Xian did not know that a long dress had appeared behind her at this time. Sensing something amiss, Zai Xian immediately looked back. The girl and the smile at the door were like a joke. With long golden hair. At that moment, the girl suddenly pointed her finger at Zai Xuan. Alfred had already quietly stood behind Zai Xuan. To find clues to leave the dungeon, they decided to split up. Before leaving, Zai Xian specially reminded Su Yashuan to pay attention to safety. But surprisingly, it was Zai Xuan who was attacked first. In a daze, Zai Xuan felt a red influence in front of him. Startled, Zai Xuan abruptly opened his eyes. Are you sober now, brother? My head still hurts. Keep your voice down. Although Zai Xuan expected a possible attack, she didn't expect to be denied even the chance to fight back. She guessed this might also be part of the copy's plot. I used thought acceleration to check the situation here. There is a lot of moss here and the air is extremely humid. And everywhere you can see signs of torture. It should be an underground prison. Why is there such a place in the Earl's basement? It's truly chilling. So the key should be hidden somewhere around here. Before his words could finish, Zai Xuan slammed his fist against the iron gate of the prison. Fortunately, she had just used the mute button, which prevented the butler from being attracted. Let's try to move as quietly as possible. If Alfred notices us, it will be troublesome. Also, you have time to talk nonsense. Rather think about how to escape from here. Just then, Zai Xian suddenly heard a dog barking. A fat little dog suddenly jumped into Zai Xian's arms. Zai Xian was curious why there was a puppy in the prison. And the puppy was actually hanging on to the key. Put that dog down. He doesn't have magic. He is just an ordinary puppy. Look at this little guy holding the key. He must have been locked up here too. It is impossible for Fubin to give us the keys so easily. The puppy might be a trap. Feeling Su Yashuan's malice, the puppy immediately whimpered. Su Yashuan also took a step back in fright. Just then, a new task appeared. They now had to go to the 4th floor of the mansion, to the room of Count Flandio, and read his diary. The reward for this level was to remove the skill restrictions of the theme instance. For Duizeshuan, the importance of this reward is self-evident. This also shows that the diary should have a lot to do with the secrets here. Brother, why did you suddenly stop talking? It's kind of scary. Su Yashuan followed Zai Xian's gaze. Standing behind them was the girl who had tipped off Zai Xian. Her golden hair was so striking. Zhao Xian was just about to ask her. This time the girl nodded. Let me ask you a question. Where is Flanders' room on the 4th floor? The girl still didn't speak. She just silently raised her hand. And the direction her finger pointed to was unexpectedly right behind Zai Xuan. So that's it. Thank you. Wait. If I have a chance, I will definitely hold a memorial service for you. As he was leaving, Su Yashuan turned back to look at the girl one more time. But the girl's figure had already disappeared. At the crucial moment when Song Jishi was about to be promoted, there was actually a themed dungeon in the amusement park. When I thought that promotion was hopeless, Manhwa Guild took the initiative to come. So you mean the Lotus Guild will be in charge of this themed dungeon? Right, and the public opinion attacks from the National Power Hunter Association, and the spearhead of the People's Evaluation Council. We, the Lotus Association, will be responsible for resolving this. However, the meaning of Chairperson Lu Xing'an is, I hope you will not disclose any information about Ming Zixuan. For a student still studying at Miles Academy, Lotus Guild actually made such a big move. It's really puzzling. I cannot tell you the detailed reasons. It's not a bad thing for us anyway. Let's just follow Lianhua Guild's suggestion. But if you fail the dungeon, don't worry about this. If he can't even clear this instance, the Lotus Guild would never get involved from the beginning. Meanwhile, the screen returns to the main copy. Zai Xian easily solved the monster blocking the way. As far as I know, Yuming Kaiki is a C-ranked magical beast. This road is a shortcut. Just a few demonic beasts. Dealing with them is a piece of cake. Thus, the two of them and the dog entered the room of Flandio. Unlike other parts of the mansion, this place looks particularly messy even without cameras. Then I'll start by searching on the desk. That place obviously has the information we need. You go check it first. Other places may also have clues. Okay, I'll go check out other places first. Thus, Zai Xian came to the desk with his dog. My father and mother are truly the best. 2 days later they will come back from the neighboring city. I feel that even the waiting time is happy. May 12, 1474 I received the bad news that my father and mother were attacked by gangsters and both died. Tears flowed uncontrollably. If I hadn't asked my father and mother to buy me that doll, would they not have died? My parents' funeral is over. As the only remaining bloodline of the House of Frandia, I became the owner of this mansion. But I am not happy at all. I have become a solo artist. From now on, it will always be. July 4, 1474, today my servant caught a thief on the road. He sneaked into the residence and broke a lily. November 9, 1474. There were constant cries of grief coming from outside the room. That was the scream of Selena, the kitchen manager, and Mitch, the maid. Siley and Alfred are knocking on my door now. They must want to silence me. What should I do after reading these diaries? Zai Xian finally understood what had happened. It turned out that Frandio was murdered from the beginning. The one who did these things should be the monster that occupied the bottom of the house. If Zai Xian is not mistaken, the culprit is the living ghost. To get the tear-faced thunderous pace from the thematic dungeon, the final stage was the float parade. Mr. Ming Zai Xian and Ms. Su Yashuan, welcome. It seems that you two have successfully completed the first 2 tasks. You two have worked hard. It shouldn't be this simple. Mr. Ming is indeed very clever. You are right. The monsters appeared in this hide-and-seek game. It will vary based on your strength, that is, the number and combat power of the challengers in your happy garden. Let me first see what everyone's strength is. Zai Xian realized that if calculated this way, it would be difficult to protect Su Yashuan while clearing the game. Congratulations, you are S rank. This is the first time such a high level has appeared. It's really surprising. Before Zai Xuan could say anything, Buluin started the game directly. Evade Shelto's clones' attacks. Reach the stronghold alive or kill her clones. Zai Xian quickly noticed that the number of participants was actually 3. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't have time to think about it now. Surtur is the guardian of Muspelheim, the realm of fire giants. Before Amer's birth in the Aldean clan, he already existed. Burning down the entire world is his only goal. Should I go and help them? You are so mischievous. You clearly don't want to help, but you're still talking nonsense. Let them go. I'd like to see. Can he survive this time? Zai Xian knows it very well. Clashing head-on with Surtur is too dangerous. Only if I can avoid a direct confrontation with him can I quickly find the stronghold. Look over there. The carousel must be the stronghold. Great. Let's keep going. Zai Xian immediately activated his speed boost skill and pulled Su Yashuan forward to run. Who is the foolish person who summoned me? Before she finished speaking, countless fireballs fell behind Zai Xuan. Listen carefully. I need you to pay attention. From now on, we two will run separately. Just keep running towards the carousel. Brother, are you going to act like a child to distract him? Or are you going to act like a child? Run quickly. I will attract his attention. But compared to Surtur, Zai Xian's figure is still too short. I'm a jerk here. Hearing Zai Xian's voice, Surtur finally noticed him. He immediately fired a fireball at Zai Xian. However, Zai Xian easily dodged it. You're so slow, do you think you can catch me? Hearing this, Surtur punched fiercely. At that moment, he noticed Su Yashuan beside him. Su Yashuan was about to reach the carousel. But in the next second, the carousel turned into a sea of fire in front of him. To pass the last level of the theme dungeon, Zai Xian did not hesitate to provoke Shire Tear. Su Yashuan was about to reach the last moment of the outpost. The stronghold, however, turned into a sea of fire before their very eyes. Foolish human, how can you, a mere mortal, stand against my 12 Terran? The only way to pass now is half dead. That is to kill the avatar of Shire Tear. A fireball suddenly flew towards Zai Xian. However, Zai Xuan reached out with one hand and stopped the fireball. No one has been able to stop my attack so far. You do have some skills. But can you still block this move? Huayin Luo Shishitir Meng de Yijian Zhan Xiala. Zai Xuan slowly extended his right hand. The situation is now not optimistic. At this rate, they will both die here. Su Yashuan immediately activated his mind acceleration, hoping to find a way to survive. Brother, I have an idea. I thought of a way to defeat the 12 terriers. At this moment, Zai Xian started to escape under Su Yashuan's direction. After a while, Zai Xuan finally stopped. Weak humans, have you finally given up on running away? Run away? There's no such word as run away in my dictionary. You, who was beaten half to death by the Asgard, aren't you just guarding the gate because you are afraid of them? He actually said I was weak. It's hilarious. What are you talking about? What, are you afraid of me, a human? You bastard, I will never let you go. Sure Te'er shot down with one arrow. But he didn't expect this to be Zai Xuan's imagination. The next second, the water in the tank surged toward him. After the flames on Shire Tear were extinguished, Zai Xuan knew the opportunity had come. Zai Xian's arrow accurately pierced his heart. You actually used such despicable tricks. The item I obtained is called the Lo Sekunwa Seal. When equipped, it increases stamina by 50 points and enables the ability to absorb skills. This skill can help me remove fear status and increase stamina and agility. Considering this skill is not as powerful as Su Yashuan's accelerated thinking, Zai Xian did not ask for this equipment. It seems you are very satisfied with the reward for this mission. It's okay, but thanks to you, it did take me quite a bit of effort. If there's nothing else, we'll go first. May you be safe and sound on your journey, the destined rebel. Zai Xian did not expect that Buren would know his identity, and was prepared to ask him about the rebels. But Brun dissipated before his eyes. At this very moment, the main copy has been successfully captured. Everyone, look over there. The survivors have come out. There are 2 survivors. They came out safely. Seeing so many people around her, Su Yashuan panicked. Everyone move aside. Now is not the time to chat with the survivors. We need to follow the procedure. But Songji's playful words were not yet finished. Zai Xuan simply vanished. This left only Su Yashuan. Park Jinshuan guessed that Zai Xian had probably used a stealth skill. It shouldn't be invisibility. According to Jin Jian's report, Zai Xian is from the magic department. If not for invisibility, how could a mage possess such qualities? Because he is a melee mage. Zai Xuan came out, Liu Xing'an contacted him immediately, and invited him to meet at the Lotus Guild when he was free. Doing such a big thing, unexpectedly disappeared without a trace. This kid is really something else. This disciple of mine, if I don't ask him, he definitely won't tell me. I guess I need to find some time to ask. Following Liu Xing'an's gaze, there on the table was a notice about the Malaysia Academy's labor union experience. Meanwhile, Zai Xian had already returned to his dormitory. With the help of the Lotus Guild, there wasn't any news about Zai Xian. At that time, he didn't expect so many people to gather there. This also allowed him to successfully experience it. The effect of Tierfei's thunderous pace. Although this instance of dungeon crawling was a bit tiring, the overall gains were still very significant. Besides this S-class equipment, Zai Xuan also obtained a consumable item. Shuriter's unquenchable flame after use. It can strengthen weapons to the extreme. Even if the final enemy is a god high above. An ordinary copy NPC actually recognized Zai Xuan, the rebel. But before Zai Xuan could ask him for more information, Buren had already turned into a spot of light and disappeared. At the same time, in Miles Academy's monitoring room, Xing Lixiu called Guai. You know that your aunt couldn't reach you all weekend. How worried are you? This is still something I concealed for you. So, as a reward, you should treat me to dinner. Unlike Jin's friendship, Serena was more concerned about Zai Xian's physical condition. I am fine. Reina, you don't need to worry too much. You've always had such bad luck. Could it be that you're hated by God? Little did they know, Zai Xian was actually under divine protection. I thought I saw a disgusting face. So it was you. If you still want to play tricks this time, you'd better be prepared. Upon hearing this, Zai Xian immediately fell into deep thought. Jin Yuqing and Su Rina were also curious about who the person in front of them was. Li Xiuxian, no loud talking in the classroom. A sound rang out. Instructor Jing Lixiu walked into the classroom. Seeing this, Li Xiuxian could only temporarily let Zai Xian go. Supernatural phenomena manifested through the injection of magic. Yes, magic is the study of causing certain phenomena through formulas. Seeing the instructor's affirmation, Li Ziyak immediately gave Zai Xian a smug demonstration. Now I will give everyone a book. This book contains the basic formulas that can trigger Earth-level magic. These formulas are also the cornerstone of all future magic. Completely mastering this book is your task for this semester. After receiving the book, the classmates began to discuss it, because in their eyes the book had not a single word. However, Zai Xian's expression changed slightly after he received the book. And this detail was also completely seen by Jing Lixiu. Now I have a question for you, Zai Xuan. Can you tell me what the text on this book says? The text on this book is runic. You are right. The text above is indeed runic. You need to decipher the formula to read this magic book. Newborns usually need a week to be deciphered, but Zai Xian could read the words on it as soon as he got it. Then I'll ask you another question. Do you know what the runes in the title mean? Hearing this, Zai Xian couldn't help but chuckle. He did not know whether it was his destiny with the Acer or another joke played on him by the Norn system. The title of this book is unexpectedly Odin's Life and the Basic Runes. Zai Xian immediately fled the scene after passing the instance. Only Su Jiaxuan was left facing countless cameras. When he got home, he was already exhausted. Although he hated contacting Zai Xian, he now had to find a way to reach him. Because Zai Xuan has not yet terminated the subordinate relationship between them. So Zai Xuan can still control his every move. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but punch the bed. Su Yashuan suddenly thought that she could use this skill to locate Zai Xian's position. At the same time, Zai Xian was studying magic formulas in the library. All formulas will vary depending on how they are applied. For example, lightning chain. It is the combination of attribute magic and chain magic. So as long as you lay a good foundation, even low-level magic can produce different effects. For the Widow department, after improving proficiency in basic swordsmanship, one can master intermediate swordsmanship. For magic users, the deeper the understanding of the formula, the higher the realm that can be reached. At that moment, Zai Xian looked up at the two people beside him. They are not as easy as Zai Xuan to understand this book. No matter what, at least you can successfully understand the title. It's so unfair. I was the one who taught you magic from the very beginning. As the saying goes, indigo blue comes from indigo, but is bluer than indigo. It is quite normal for a student to surpass their teacher. At this moment, Surina suddenly cried out excitedly. Great! I can finally see the content of Chapter 1. She thought it was because she had deliberately distanced herself from her. Damn, why am I the only one who can't see it? Jin Youqing's sudden loud shout drew the anger of many people. Zai Xuan could only quickly explain that this was not something he did. However, several people did not know. A crow was watching them outside the window. It all started a few days ago. After passing the short test on magic theory, everyone enjoyed a brief period of rest. To become stronger, Zai Xuan sold all the materials he collected from Haimingji. But this amount of money was not enough for Zai Xian to buy enough equipment. So he decided to let Li Zaixiang play to his full potential. This led to everyone gathering together to discuss the name of the magic potion shop. But just then, Su Yashuan, however, stormed in angrily. You have to finish the trip we agreed on before you leave. Zai Xian was curious why Su Yashuan had found him. Didn't you cast a strange spell on me to make me behave? Hearing this, the faces of the two girls immediately darkened. You jerk, how dare you threaten a child with that kind of skill? Since you're here, take a seat on the empty chair over there. Let me borrow your brilliant mind for a while. The girl is a super genius with an IQ of 150. However, he was having trouble coming up with a name for the potion shop. Experienced a Waterloo in life. Because she wanted to name Li Zaixiang's shop Tianhua Moyao. The other two recalled the potion shop called Zaixiang and Alice's Potion House. Hearing these names, Zai Xian felt unwell. He even felt like randomly catching a monster in the dungeon. Can all come up with better names than these? Why didn't you ask for my opinion? It doesn't matter whether you listen or not. Just tell me. How about Alice Atelier? Alice, I have some questions while reading this grimoire, so I would like to ask you for help. Seeing this book, Xing Lixiu panicked. Because this was clearly a heart-piercing grimoire. Even ordinary instructors had difficulty understanding this book. He doesn't understand when Zai Xian has reached this level. As Xing Lixiu was also unable to help Zai Xian, so he could only study it himself first. It is a pity that Zai Xian has made no progress during this time. He had no choice but to seek help from his teacher, Lu Xing'an. However, his every move in the past few days has been observed by the librarian. After Zai Xuan left, he silently wrote in his notebook. Student Zai Xuan borrowed the 4-star magic book. Yes, with my current abilities, I can't understand the contents of the book at all. Capable of creating entirely new magic. Can remove the magic. The destruction that turns everything into nothing. Increases the magical power of levitation. Both the formulas and the theories need to be more complex. So far Zai Xuan has only relied on the eye of Odin. To understand magic more deeply. Speaking of this, I also can't say for sure. Zai Xian was curious why even S-class Lu Xing'an couldn't help him. The concepts that appear in the 4-star magic book. If you don't go and familiarize yourself with it, it's meaningless. Only you can understand it, then you can enter the realm of A-level hunter. To smoothly interpret the 4-star magic guide and become stronger, Zai Xuan found his master, S-level magic hunter, Liu Xing'an. But to his surprise, Lu Xing'an couldn't help him decipher the 4-star magic guide. The content of this book can only be interpreted by Zai Xuan himself. The method Lu Xing'an mentioned is to cultivate with Gleipnir. After being bound by Gleipnir, Zai Xian's all abilities will decrease by 50%. During this time, Zai Xuan would repeatedly use a skill, and in this process, continuously analyze the calculation formula of that magic. Zai Xuan didn't understand. What is the relationship between the increase and this type of training? The relationship between these two needs to be understood by yourself. However, starting with overly complex magic training would be too difficult. Magic sword arrows, at this level, should be just right. Thus, Zai Xian took grapnel with him. Start training in the A2 combat space. Following Lu Xing'an's instructions, Zai Xian could only use the magic sword arrow skill. Due to Gleipnir's effect, Zai Xuan's various attributes have declined considerably. His body became heavy and dazed again. Monsters that could be easily killed in the past are now becoming difficult to deal with. Thank you for worrying about me. But you should know that there will be a quiz in 2 days, right? Jin Yuqing, you probably haven't finished reviewing all the exam content yet, right? And Reina, I heard you'll fail if you don't get a passing grade again. He has to stay behind for extra lessons. It seems like it's time to go to the library. Reina, we should go now. We can't chat with Zai Xuan here anymore. Zai Xuan could only watch helplessly as the two left. After that, Zai Xian returned to the A2 combat zone. Although the difficulty of clearing customs is much higher now than before, the power of skills will also increase. At this level, it's B rank at best. Or it could be said to be the entry level for extremely bad attackers. Although Zai Xian initially had the intention of using her, he was just approaching Lu Jing'an. But now, between the two of them, there was indeed already a master-disciple bond. The scene shifted, and Jin Shiji arrived at Qiu Ziren's office again. But Qiu Ziren didn't even look up at him this time. Jin Shiji knows. This is because he didn't handle the simulation copy well. Mayorly, the labor union experience event is ready. It's much happier than I expected. Is there anything unusual about that place? Rest assured. This time, the preparation is very thorough. Instructor Jin Shiji, you did a great job. Zai Xian finally got a moment to breathe. But at this moment, he felt a familiar magic on campus. Are you coming out yourself or should I go over there? Huaying Weiluo Zai Xuan abruptly turned around and looked behind him. A boundless magical force surged out of him instantly. He quickly sensed the crows hiding around. After seeing the number of people coming, Zai Xian smiled slightly. Now these crows can let him try his strength. With her nimble figure, Zai Xuan easily dodged the crow's attack, even able to find Hui's flaws during the dodge. And he is eager to fight back. It seems you don't know that your companion has been killed by me. Kahua Yingweilo, the other two hidden crows rushed out. Zai Xian realized that this group of crows was also irrational. However, they dared to be so blatant within the academy. Autumn is starting to take action. After a brief analysis, Zai Xuan left. After all, there was no useful information to be gained from these crows. It was at this moment that a familiar figure appeared before Zai Xuan. In an instant, Zai Xuan was on high alert. How could you? Long time no see, my good-for-nothing son. Ling Qing'eo hadn't finished speaking when Zai Xuan activated the lightning chains. But he easily dodged all these attacks. It seems that you are in a rebellious phase. Cut the crap. What is your real purpose here? Do you ask me why I come here? Actually, Min Qing'eo is also curious. Why has Zai Xuan grown so much in such a short time? I just want to ask you one question. Have the opponents of the Asa clan contacted you? Hearing Min Qing'eo's words, Zai Xian's eyes betrayed his thoughts. Oh, I see. I don't need your answer then. Hua because he followed Min Qing'eo, then struck a sword at Zai Xian. Zai immediately used a magic barrier to block his attack. The magic barrier appeared, but it was shattered by Min Qing'eo's sword energy. The remaining power of those sword energies severely injured Zai Xian did not believe that this was the true strength of the extremely fierce attacker. And he was curious why Minqing knew about these things. Are you going to kill me now? I will not kill you. But I will cut off your limbs here. This is the first time Nehai has met her father. As soon as they met, Min Qing'eo severely injured Zai Xian. Zai Xuan is now growing faster than he expected. At this rate, it will soon become a huge stumbling block. Regardless of the answer, it will have a great impact on Min Qing'eo's plan to prevent Zai Xian from growing up any further. Before she finished speaking, Min Qing'eo then swung his sword at Zai Xian. Given Zai Xian's state, he was absolutely unable to dodge this attack. But at this moment, a magical power suddenly appeared around. And the source of that magic power, it was a small black cat. Are you trying to break our agreement? Or do you dare to offend the great Odin? Well, I really don't understand what you are saying. Zai Xuan wondered if he was hallucinating. A cat was talking to him. You may leave. We still have something for this child to do. Between the words, this black cat had transformed into a young girl. Zai Xuan could feel his magic was stronger than Min Qing'eo's. He doesn't understand what's going on right now. Are you really going to make things this bad? The girl did not answer Min Qing'eo. She just grazed her arm with her finger. He saw his blood dripping drop by drop on the ground. The next second, those blood changes turned into ghostly claws, attacking Min Qing'eo. Min Qing'eo could only temporarily block these attacks with his sword. You should know we only have this one choice left. In a flash, the ghost claws attack became even more fierce. A powerful magic force held Min Qing'eo firmly in place, relying on a tiny human to end the war of the gods. It seems, Lord Loki, you have also weakened quite a bit. Even Odin, who wanted to exterminate even an insignificant human, how powerful could he be? Today I will leave, but next time, if you cause trouble like today again, when the time comes, I will formally ask you according to the treaty. I am Hurl's clone. He is the observer who witnesses you, the rebel in this prophecy. Also guides you to complete the 5 trials. Back in the dormitory, Zai Xuan immediately started to treat his wounds. Ask whatever you want to ask now. As long as it's within the scope of my knowledge, I can answer you. Then tell me, what's the story behind that guy, Min Qing'eo? He is not your biological father. His real name is Fujin. This is one of Odin's 2 ravens. Fujin was originally a sacred bird. Has the ability to erode people's hearts, and then manipulate their power. He will enlist the help of Wuni, another crow capable of manipulating memories, to protect the human world. So far, he has been pretending to be your family member, lingering around you. It's just to restrain you, the rebel in the prophecy. This man hired a hitman to kill his wife and children. Instead of listening to me, it might be easier for you to understand after seeing it with your own eyes. He then used the nun system to awaken Zai Xian's backup memories. Zai Xuan suddenly appeared outside a room. Inside, a boy is being beaten. And that man was Ning Qing'eo, or perhaps Fujin. From the day Zai Xuan awakened his magic, that place called home is filled with abuse and endlessness. Although his mother had always protected Zai Xuan, but what she got in return was her mother's battered body. Suddenly, the scene in front of Zai Xuan changed. A censor appeared in front of her. That appears only when someone in the family passes away. The boy is now nestled in his mother's arms, crying. Although tears streamed down her face, the mother kept comforting the child in her arms. And the photo above the incense burner. But she still couldn't help but buy Zai Xuan the ice cream she wanted. That should have been a memory Zai Xian would never forget. How could I forget all of this? Zai Xian couldn't help but reach out and touch the person in the photo. But she didn't get to look at it more. Her consciousness was sent back to the real world. It seems you have finally broken free from the fabricated memories. Why is this? Why is it like this? Because you are destined to be a rebel. What is this then? Why does my life have to be so painful? The twilight of the gods arrived 10,000 years ago. It all started from then. Ragnarok is the final battle of the gods. It is also where all stories end. Jongemo. In the Battle of Jongemo, the united army of the Aesir opponents, there was a fierce struggle. But in the end, they were defeated by the Aesir, and the army led by Valkyrie. Odin forced them to sign a treaty, using it as a condition for releasing the hostages. This treaty made Odin's power greater. Countless living beings in this world are thus tormented and cry out in pain. However, at that very moment, the Norns made a prophecy. Around 10,000 years later, the second Middle End arrived. The weakest existence in the world. This will overthrow Odin and Asgard's rule. Open a new world. And that prophesied rebel is Ming Zixuan. You could say that you are our hope. So, you're planning to use me to get rid of Odin? Right. This is our only chance. What is Odin's purpose? What can he get by doing this? He wanted to reach the summit of the 9 great worlds. Odin wanted to control all 9 realms. This includes here. Midgard, where humans reside, is within. Legend has it that in distant Asgard, there is a supreme god. It is because of his existence that the 9 worlds can live in peace. When the humans living in Midgard faced the threat of monsters, Odin bestowed upon humanity the Asgardian system. This gave them the power to fight monsters. But Herla told Zixuan Odin's true purpose. He controls the 9 worlds. Suddenly learning this information, Zixuan was also a little bewildered. Odin has conquered Vanaheim and Jotunheim, Svartalfheim, Muspelheim. 4 worlds. Did he want to occupy the rest of the world in the Second War? That's right, so we don't have much time left. If that's the case, why didn't Odin kill me sooner? Because of the power of prophecy. That is a historical torrent that even God cannot defy. So Odin let me grow up. The same power that protects you, you will disappear. At that time, you will be annihilated by the Aesir. No. You should have been annihilated by the Asa Protoss once already. In a flash, Zixuan understood everything. It turned out that his death before his transmigration was a trap set by Odin, the master of Fujin. They had been playing with Zixuan's life from the very beginning. They not only killed his family, he also forged his memories, making him live in hell. Rebel, do you want revenge? Do you want to avenge them and protect what you hold most dear? Ming Zixuan, listen to me now. I am the guide of the 5 trials. The prophesied rebel. To raise you into a god slayer who can destroy Odin, I will give you trials. As long as you pass these trials, can obtain the power of the trial god. The nun's system suddenly popped up a new task. The path of the trial god, the user is destined to become rebels against Odin and Asgard. To break Odin's ambition. Inherit the power of the Asa Protoss opponents. So far, the Imperial Decree has passed his test. When all trials are completed, he will be able to gain the opponent of the Aesir. Please work hard to become stronger before the next weekend arrives. I will watch as the eyes of the rebels. Please do not let us down. The scene shifts to Asgard. Truly bothersome. Just because of a prophecy. I even have to peep at such an insignificant existence. Merely a human who can't even touch our toes. Even if it's the seed of a giant tree, if you destroy it in its infancy, it cannot grow any further. The more they oppose, the more determined they become. Our great cause is about to be accomplished. We must not show any weakness at this moment. Heimdall, I grant you temporary authority. You know what that means. Of course. I can finally leave Asgard.